You are tuned in to the Soft Season Summit. It is day 2, and we are ready to kick off our virtual vendor marketplace. As you know, our first hour from 6 to 7 p.m. is your opportunity to learn about, support, and shop with some amazing Black woman owned businesses. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Gina Williams, who is the brains and the boss behind BlackSelfCareTalk.com.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me, Corio. I'm really excited to be here. I am the owner and creator of Black Self Care Talk, and it's a brand that fosters self care within the Black community. I noticed a need for it while dealing with my own self care journey. I noticed that there were a lot of things that I needed to focus on within myself, and I knew that one of my biggest issues was self love, and I've seen that a lot in Black women. And so that's why I created guided journals that focuses on specific topics. And some of the top ones are the self love, which are the self love guided and the self love affirmation journals. And those really helped me get through tough times where I felt like I didn't love myself. I didn't care for myself. It was just a lot of things that I needed to work through. And when I went looking for journals at the time, I did not find the type of journals that I was looking for. So I decided to create my own journals. So, along with the self love guided journal and the self love affirmation journal, I also created the self confidence journal because confidence is also a part of self love. I also have a self esteem journal that has actually sold out, but will be restocking soon. And I also created gratitude journals because, along with self love and your daily prayer life, being grateful is a part of life. Um, yes. For gratitude, I decided to make these because I feel like we're not grateful in our lives a lot. Like we tend to take a lot of things for granted. We often, just go through life and, we always want more, but we're not grateful for the things we have. We, pray for all these things. We want all these things. We work towards a lot of different things, but we're never grateful and fully focused on the things that we have. And it's okay to want more, but you still have to be grateful in the process. Appreciate your journey along the way. And that's why I created the gratitude journals. And I do have the gratitude journal for women, and I also created a gratitude journal specifically for men also. And for the self love journals, I did create a self love journal for men because I also noticed that there were a lot of men in our community that didn't love themselves either, or just, a lack thereof, or just maybe needed some guidance. So this is why I created these journals. I also have a few more that I'm working on and two that are available for pre-order. I have health and fitness journal for Black women, and it's for not specifically for weight loss. It's if you looking to lose weight, gain weight, or just keep track of your health overall. I also have a 30-day prayer journal for Black women, and it just focuses on prayer, or different scriptures, and just different things that we need to work on for ourselves. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to message me on Instagram at blackselfcaretalk.com. I can be reached by email at info@blackselfcaretalk.com. You can send me DMs anytime. You can also put messages in my comments. I'm available, and thank you.
So, Gina, what would you say are some of the ways that you personally, or even clients that you might have, use journaling?
So I would say journaling when you're going through a healing process. That's one of the reasons. That's how I started journaling initially. Was I went to therapy and it was suggested by my therapist, and so I started journaling to, keep track of the journey that I was going on and also to release. And I noticed that a lot of times that I can speak for Black women, and I can relate that we tend to hold in a lot of things, and I felt like journaling was the way that I was able to release a lot of the things that I was just holding in, whether it was anger or fear or just anything, whatever I had on my mind, I put it in a journal. And it helped a lot. It helped free me, or release like a weight off my shoulders. So it definitely helps along with my healing journey.
I love that. And I actually noticed I have never been into journaling in terms of like at the end of the day, I'm just kind of journaling about my day. But what I noticed is I was kind of doing journaling, but more so for my ideas. So writing out all of my ideas, my dreams, my plans. So I've used journaling in that. And one of the things that I noticed is how much more productive I am when I'm intentional about journaling versus when I think that I'm just going to magically remember everything and I never do.
Right.
So I
And so,
love that there's so many different ways that you can use journaling. Diamond says, I have quite a few homeboys who actually said journaling helps them release things they don't want to talk about with anyone else. I was shocked. That is great. I love that you have created journals specifically for Black men because unfortunately, Black men are left out of 90% of the mental health, mindset, mindfulness conversation. They're just totally, left out of it. And they're not tapping in to the conversation on their own. A lot of times they're involved in the conversation through the women in their lives. And so for those of you who maybe you're already into journaling, maybe you already got a bookshelf full of journals because y'all know we like to collect things, right? Even if you don't necessarily need a journal today, I bet you have someone in your life who does. So we know we talked about the fact that men, are dealing with a lot of things that they're not always comfortable enough to speak, right? To release that way. But think about kids. Think about the things that kids are going through on a daily basis that they feel like they're going through alone. They feel like they don't have anybody to talk to. Nobody gets them. Nobody can understand it. They definitely feel like their parents are probably a part of the problem, so they're probably not, communicating with you. And so I think as women, yes, we're here to talk about, self-care and making sure we're taking care of ourselves, but a lot of times the responsibility of everyone falls on us. And so the more we learn, the more we know, the more resources we can kind of collect, we can just continue to pass on those resources, and that can continue to impact our own little individual community. So I love this. Tell us again, what's the journal you said that was sold out? Which one was that one?
it's the Self Esteem Journal. It's for Black women, and that won't be restocking. It should be within a week or so.
Got you. And are these available do you do it through KDP or are they all on your website?
They're all on my website.
Got you. Blackselfcaretalk.com. I don't see any questions in the chat. Any final words that you would like to share? And actually, I want to ask you a question because for you to have dedicated so much time and energy and attention to create this entire product line that we see in front of you, that took some dedication, some determination, some of the things that I know somebody watching this is wishing they had, because somebody who's seeing you right now with the manifestation, right? We're seeing a manifestation right in front of you. But somebody watching this is sitting on their ideas. They either don't believe that it's possible, they don't know where to start. Maybe they started and then they got stuck. Can you offer a word of encouragement to someone who's looking at you like, wow, Gina has created this entire product collection. How can I do that too? What's your advice?
My advice is really to get out of your own way. I mean, that's really the only thing that pretty much holds us back, and that's in everything in life because we put so many limits on ourselves. I mean, you listen to the things that other people may say and try to project onto you, but at the end of the day, it's your life, your decision. And as long as it's something that you want to do and you pursue it, you can do it, regardless of what anyone else says.
I love it. Listen, self love is beyond just like feeling good about yourself. It's really, truly understanding that you are the designer of your destiny, that nobody outside of you can dictate or determine what you are capable of doing. But in that same light, the responsibility is on you. You're responsible for your wins and you're responsible for your failures. And so you have to make sure that the things that I feel like God sometimes like whispers to us. And then it gets a little bit louder, and then it gets a little bit louder until he's like in your face with it. You don't want to wait until God has to sit you down to get you together. It is much better for you, right? For your nerves if you focus on listening to the whisper before it turns into a roar. So I love, Gina, that you listened to that whisper, you followed your calling, and now you are literally creating resources that are impacting the lives of not just women, but of people. And so we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you all log on to blackselfcaretalk.com and grab a journal. Even if you got a closet full of journals, grab one for a loved one. Okay. And Tammy says, I am currently journaling. It was recommended by my therapist as well. Listen, it really truly will help you to release any of the things that you've been holding on to. I think a lot of times when we think about baggage, it's easy to think about baggage in terms of relationships. Like you're taking baggage on from relationship to relationship, but we're taking baggage from every old situation to the next situation. So from one job to the next job, you're taking baggage. From one, friendship to the next friendship, you're taking baggage. From one heartbreak to the next relationship, you're taking baggage. From one misfortune to the next, you're taking baggage. And a lot of times we are not releasing the things that we've been holding on to. And when you hold on to all of that, it literally turns into disease, sickness, and illness. Okay. 80% of all of the diseases that we're experiencing are stress related. And journaling is definitely one of the ways that you can start to relieve your own stress. So thank you again, Gina. We appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We are going to keep this virtual marketplace rolling. Now, this is the Soft Season Summit. We are here with resources specifically for who? Black women. But it seems like we got a Black gentleman who has some resources specifically for you all in the building. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up our next vendor. Bill Grayson is coming to the stage. Welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much. Good evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Bill Grayson, and I'm the owner of Gold Banner Beauty Products. Gold Banner Beauty Products was founded in the 70s by my late mother. She developed a product called Good to Grow hair care products. Good to Grow was founded through her loss of hair and from medications. She was diagnosed with high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and the medication they gave her back in the 70s was too harsh, and it took out all her hair. But what she founded at that time was a product that worked for her and a lot of her friends and family members. So since that time, my mom passed away, and she left the formulas, and a lot of her clients and people were asking about the products. And during the bubble, when the real estate crisis occurred, I had lost my employment, and I got a hold to all of her formulas, and I re-established the formulas through one of her associates who was a chemist, and we renamed it a couple of the brands, and that's how we came up with Gold Banner Beauty Products. And Gold Banner Beauty Products, we have 4 brands that we're working with right now. Moisture Curl is one of the biggest brands for the curly girls. We've got Good to Grow with mango and shea butter, which is that is the hero product. That's the product that was formulated in the kitchen. And I used to trug the big buckets up the steps as a child. So I really remember it quite well. So Good to Grow. And then we came up with Good to Grow with biotin. Our Good to Grow with biotin, we got the biotin supplements, biotin serum. We've got the Good to Grow shampoo with biotin, leave-in conditioner with biotin. And we got our tingling sensational product, which is a biotin conditioner. But we also have a salon product for all the stylists out there. It's called Resilience. And all of these products can be found on our website at goldbannerbeautyproducts.com. And you can find us on Instagram at Gold Banner Beauty. And the products are available. And what we're doing right now, we're a socially responsible company. And with the uptick of the COVID crisis trying to come back on us, we've been giving out free hand sanitizers to our customers. So, and they also, anytime you make a purchase on our website, you get free samples of other products. If you order Moisture Curl, you might get a Good to Grow shampoo with the mango and shea, or you might get a biotin Good to Grow. But we also always provide our customers with a little bonus when they order from us, so they can try other products. Because we have a company, we make products with our borders. We got products for everybody, no matter what color, what texture. We got products that'll help you. The biotin product is a favorite of mine because I was totally bald. I mean, now I can just get a good line and it looks like I got hair.
So talk to us about biotin, because I feel like that's like a trendy ingredient, but not everybody knows about it.
Yeah, well, biotin is very good. It's high in keratin, and what keratin is, it's found in our bodies, and it strengthens our nails and our hair. So a lot of times, a lot of different conditions cause you to lose this keratin, and if your nails get weak, your hair gets thinning. That's from a lack of that keratin. So biotin, it's trending, but biotin is an ingredient found in our bodies. And we get a lot of it from the food that we eat. So a lot of vegetables, things of that nature carry the biotin, vitamin B7. And that's what, a lot of people that take medications, they may be not know it, but they could be starving for that B7. And that's what strengthens the hair, strengthens the nails, and it's great for the skin. We've got this product here, our biotin serum. I mean, it's not only great for the hair for the women and men, but the men love it on their beards. So if you go to our Instagram page, you'll see a lot of the videos with men using the biotin serum on their beards. So we got a lot of great products here, and I'm just happy to be here with you today. And I thank you for having us, and I'm available. Huh?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So what was the cause, if you know, what was causing your mother's, like what in the medications was actually causing the hair loss? Because so many of us end up with these prescriptions, but we don't know what the real effects, are going to be.
Right. A lot of times these prescriptions are too strong. And what happens is it will dry out your skin. And by that happening, what she found that she was losing her hair and it wasn't growing back. So it was something with the follicles being closed. So she made a product with a lot of peppermint and menthol. And what it did, it really reactivated those follicles and helped restore the root health. And we're using those same ingredients today.
Keeping the dream alive.
Yes, indeed. That's my legacy.
I love that. I really, really do. So for anybody who's like, wait a minute, this ain't a Black woman owned business. Yes, it was. This is a Black woman founded business. Okay.
Yes.
And keeping the legacy going. And we always, well, not we always, but we hear of these cases of, alopecia and women experience hair loss, so many things that we experience and that we're dealing with that we don't always understand and we don't always have solutions for.
Yes.
I love that you are not just creating or you're not just promoting this product because it's trendy, but you're literally continuing your mother's legacy. And
Absolutely.
And you are actually adding wellness, I would say, because it's
absolutely
the look of your hair.
Not only will you look good, your hair will be healthy.
That part.
So this is about sustaining that healthy hair.
Yes. Yes. So on Instagram at Gold Banner Beauty. You can also shop and support at goldbannerbeautyproducts.com. Anything else we need to know? Any other ways that we can support? Anything else you got going on?
Well, we are a veteran-owned business. I'm a veteran, so we hire veterans. We work in the community to make sustainable commitments to people that's less fortunate than some others. And so we hire from our community. We try to put back into the community. So every product you purchase from us, a dollar that goes back into us trying to build wealth in our community.
I love that. Keeping it going. I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for being here. It was an
Thank you.
honor to meet you, an honor to have you. And I am just so excited that you have kept your mother's legacy alive.
Yes, ma'am.
So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Y'all, bomb.com, okay? Goldbannerbeauty.com. Gold Banner Beauty Products, .com is where you can go to shop and support. I'm talking men, women, and children. Okay. He mentioned biotin is inside of some of the products, not just because it's trendy, but because it is research based. Okay. We are going to keep this show going in the studio, but we are a few minutes early. Vivian, wave at me if you're ready. If not, I can do an intermission. Are you really ready? That was like a delayed wave. Let me see. You need a minute?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
She's like, I do this. Okay. So you don't need an introduction. We just met you yesterday. You are back in the building with some game. Maybe you're here to talk about this tender thing. Maybe you're not. We'll see. But we're excited to have you either way. Y'all, welcome my girl Vivian back to the summit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Soft Summit. This has been an amazing couple of days. I know that the presentations yesterday were absolutely amazing. So my name is Vivian Oladit, and I am the author of Stumbling Through Adulthood. Stumbling Through Adulthood is a interactive journal, and I know that we have some other journals that are available here today. And I just encourage you all to make journaling a part of your activity, because journaling is an awesome way to get outside of yourself. But the reason why Stumbling Through Adulthood is a great book for your gift giving is because it is back to school time. And how many of you all know someone who is going to college, they're going to high school, they're looking and striving for excellence? And Stumbling Through Adulthood is an incredible book to encourage soft living for our young women and men. And so this book has a collection of 25 short stories in it, and I want to share it in the chat with you. If you're interested in getting STA Journal, I'll share it in the chat right now. And sharing a little bit more about why I decided to write this book is because a lot of people learn about me because of the Flourish Media Conference. It is a conference that we host in Miami, Florida, where we connect angel investors and funders with women small business owners. It is my goal, my desire that women find joy through entrepreneurship. I understand that being able to have the freedom of choice of how you live your life and what you do with your time is so incredible for women to do and to have that freedom. And inside my book, there's a collection of 25 short stories, and I thought it would be fun to read one of the short stories. And excuse me, but there is a little bit of adult language inside of my book, but I think that you all can give me grace and enjoy this. And so let's start with one of the favorites of my book, and it's called That Bitch Sally Mae. Being a parent is tiring and expensive. I've often heard that preschool is a great opportunity to take advantage of free babysitting, and it's a win-win for parents knowing that their child is being cared for in a safe environment while they get to return to work and resume their habits from behind becoming a parent. Eventually, after 12 years of standardized testing, after school activities, experimenting with drugs and sports, and you get to graduate. And in America, that means that you have the right to borrow thousands and thousands of dollars for your education. You may not realize that going to college in the United States is less about academia and more about experience. That experience looks like on campus dorms, sports teams, sororities, fraternities, spring break trips, and a lifetime of supply of branded hoodies from your school. What it didn't realize, at least I didn't realize, is the socialization would be so expensive. Months after graduating, I was still living in the same duplex I resided in during college, and I was driving the same car, my Betty Deuce, my Ford Focus. And I had a full time job in the adult industry. Yeah, you heard right. Part time at a sporting event and whatever freelance gigs I could pick up through my modeling company. When I wasn't working, I was eye hustling and cyber stalking positions that were better aligned with the 3 degrees I now had. It was typical day, another day opening up all of my mail, and I saw it. Hello, Miss Oliden, you owe $980 per month. What in the entire F is that? 98 $980 per month for what? I started reading and rereading every single line of my welcome package from Sally Mae. And I started going through all of my budget, my rent, my car, my insurance, food, gym, phone, Netflix, gas, electricity, internet, cable, hair, nails, and spa, almost $3,000. What in the F, man? Why is life so expensive? Where am I supposed to get $980? So, inside this book, Stumbling Through Adulthood, what you'll find is a collection of short stories talking about that part of life right from high school to young adulthood and all of the different things that we discover from being responsible with our finances to dating the wrong person. And how about to watching our friends go through different situations? Last time I was here, I talked about the fact that I met my husband on Tinder, and during the pandemic, I became a mom of two. And during that same time, I was able to build my business and sustain my business and be a public speaker at many different universities and different environments. And all of that was because I decided to journal. Through every single moment of my life, I've kept a journal so that I could reflect on what was working for me and what wasn't. And when people hear that I was able to raise $15 million to invest into businesses that are owned and operated by women, they're always asking, how did you get in the mindset to do that? How were you able to step out of your regular habits in order to do that? If you look online, you'll see that I was able to pay off all of the debt that I accumulated from college. And the interesting thing is because it happened one day at a time. By deciding to step into new habits, and habits are really supported in rituals. And the ritual that I believe is really transformative is that of journaling. So whether you yourself are interested in journaling or you find someone in your life would benefit from reflection, from being able to get their thoughts out on paper, this is a really important thing to do. And I encourage you to consider getting Stumbling Through Adulthood in order to carry that out. When you are focused on a goal, whether that goal is to develop better habits, to live a soft life, to improve your self care, you are 95% more likely to achieve a goal when you write it down. And so, inside of my book, what I've done is included some writing prompts in different areas of life because my book is broken down into education, jobs, friends and family, lifestyle, success, and love and relationships. And inside of those areas, I ask you to reflect on different questions. And so I'll give you a peek into some of these questions and how they might suit you as you decide if this is a book that you want to support and something that you want to participate in and use. And so as you are writing and using these different prompts, it's a great idea to think about how this can show up in your life so that you can step outside yourself and really look at how you can make improvements in your day-to-day. So here are some of the questions that are asked in the book. This is in the lifestyle and success area. It says, which one of my stories felt like it was a part of your life? I know that being a part of different communities like this wonderful community that we have here with the Soft Summit, is important to know that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. And how has domestic violence ever touched your life? Because inside my book, I share about the domestic violence that has come into my life as a young adult, in my dating life, not only for myself, but for people in my life, and how making the decision really touched the way that I date moving forward. And how far have you gone in the name of vanity? Because we all know, we've all done it. We've all done it where we're out in these streets and we're here dating and we're dealing with different things and dealing with different people. But I asked the question, what are you giving up or sacrificing in the name of dating that guy, right? It's because it's not always something so dramatic like domestic violence. Sometimes it's, I'm dating a guy and he's he doesn't have a job, or there's these things that in society as a community we've decided is okay to drop a lover because he's not working, he's not taking care of me, he's not doing these things. But what if he is working? What if he is a high net worth earner, but he's not treating you with respect, sis? What if he's a high net worth earner, but he's not giving you the emotional support, not giving you space to grow as a person? What if he's the perfect guy that your family thinks is the right fit for you, but you know in your heart that he's not going to support the things that are important to you? These are all things that are important to take abreast of, to take note of, so that you can understand what are the things that are the most important to you. Because when I think about being a soft woman and being able to operate in the world and carry out all of these amazing things that we are blessed to do, I think of it in the form of, where am I standing in my integrity and operating in the things that are the best for me so that I can be living a life of joy? It's super important that as you are deciding how to spend your money, it's important to know that Flourish Media is my full-time marketing agency, and it is the underwriter for Behind the Leaf and the Flourish Media Conference, where we put a portion of everything that we earn back into our communities. Because like I said, I envision a world where women find joy through entrepreneurship. And that joy is a world where women are able to have financial autonomy and for freedom on how they build up themselves. And I believe that that starts with your mindset and with self-care, and that journaling is an amazing part of being able to do that. Can you put a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying this conversation? And I would love to hear, what are some of the self-care behaviors that you participate in? I know that when I was writing this book and putting my thoughts on paper, one of the ways that I was able to get this book done is I would do this because I was preparing actually for my wedding. I was getting married to that guy that I met on Tinder. And I would go work out every day. And when I was recovering, because girl, it's a whole thing, running, going to these boot camps, trying to get this body right. And I would sit in the car, and during that time, I would reflect on, how did I get here? How did I get to this point of really pure joy where I'm going to marry this man that I really love, and I'm able to build this life that I envision? And this last couple of weeks, I will tell you that it's been amazing when I think back on those days when I was working out, reflecting, getting myself mentally, emotionally prepared to be a wife. And I would write my thoughts down after the gym. And so it wasn't that I was taking a big moment into finding time to journal. The way that I was journaling was, I would go to the gym. I made it a part of my regular routine. And you'll notice the size of this journal. It's not super big. It is flexible. It's made of very, very good quality. And the interior of it is the right type of paper so that you can write on it, because it fits inside a bag, girl. You got to be able to take this out with you, make it a part of your life. And so the way that I can find time to journal in the first place is simply that I can take this journal with me. And so the great thing about stumbling through adulthood in this particular journal, the way it's designed, is that it does come with an ebook version of the book. And so that also is available on Kindle And so you're able to interact with it and work with it in all different areas. And so for me, when it comes to journaling, getting my thoughts down on paper and being able to reflect back on why those things were affecting me. Because I shared before last time when I came on that I would say, like, I'm not dating no more F boys. I'm not dating anybody who's not able to do X, Y, and Z for me. I'm not doing that anymore. Or this guy's not serious, or that guy's not serious, and he didn't call me, and blah, 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 blah. And then I would look back at my journal and I'd realize, Vivian, you only went on one date with this guy. He already told you that he does X, Y, and Z, and those are not things that you want anyway. And it's like you're blowing yourself up mentally over these things, these stories that you're telling yourself, and those aren't things that are actually important to you. So I think that journaling is a great way to be able to put your thoughts and desires on paper so that you can make sure that you're in alignment with yourself, honestly. And so when it comes to being able to use this book, some of the other things that I think is important with this interactive journal is that this interactive journal does come with some extras. So if you purchase the Stumbling Through Adulthood journal today as a part of the Soft Summit, you'll be able to walk away with this wonderful, wonderful flask. I know that next week in Miami, Beyonce is going to be here in Miami. Hey, hey. And so I'll be able to travel with my flask. It is leather bound and it is very nice. It comes with the purchase of the book. You can see that this is stitched. It's very nice, high quality. And it also comes with a wine stopper because when I was trying to figure out how to pay off my student loan debt from Sally Mae, hey, I was like, okay, we're gonna need to have a glass of wine as we figure this out. And so inside of your bundle comes a wine stopper. This is a rubber stopper, and it is also embossed with the STA labeling, as well as, yes, thank you so much. It is super cute. So it comes along with the book, and you'll also get a embossed pen because this is in fact a journal. And so it does come with this wonderful pen and this ballpoint that you can use this as a stylus on your smartphone so you can keep your nails. If you keep your nails done, you'll have that. And it is a twist entry. I don't want to blind you all with my wedding ring here. But and then we also have my this is a magnetized bookmark. So as you are going through the journal or you want to return to certain pages within the journal, you'll have this magnet bookmark that you can use as well. And so that's also embossed there with our emblem and things. So if you're interested, you have Stumbling Through Adulthood, which is available to you at vivianoliden.com. And that purchase of the book right now is going to come with your flask, which you do not have to fill with alcohol. If that's not your vibe, you can fill it with whatever you like. Here in Miami, it's about 1,000,000 degrees, and so this would definitely be filled with water these days. And then we also have our wine stopper, the pen, and the magnet book, the bookmark that comes with that. So from vivianoliden.com, Stumbling Through Adulthood, it is an interactive journal to help you to fail forward. I think it's really important to share our stories. And I know that it's easy to find the successes when you're Googling away and on social media because we're always open to sharing the best parts of what we've done. But it's super important to look back and say, there were some steps along the way. There were some things that had to happen. So Takara says, I practice spiritual, environmental, physical, social, financial, and a few other dimensions of self-care. I love that. Thank you so much. And so if you're enjoying this conversation, you can put a 1 in the chat. I definitely think it's important to incorporate self-care into how you're operating and taking care of yourself as you are building and walking in this soft life, because Lord knows society puts us in situations where we may want to show up harshly. We want to get aggressive. We have to show them, who's boss and all these different things. But there's a lot of power in having your sustainability, having yourself centered and being able to show up as your authentic self, because you need to know what are those real unapologetic things that you want to accomplish in your life. For me, it was being able to find a collection of relationships that were going to be whole for me, that were going to be positive for me, and that I could live a life where I could be joyous and have control over my time. And so I know that when I was working in corporate America and I felt like I was underpaid, underemployed, and I was able to work with people who really are excellent professionals, but were not thinking about me. They weren't thinking about the way that I could show up in the world and how I could operate in my greatness. And I needed to build up my confidence in being in those environments to be able to step away and to build the business that I have now. Danielle says, self care is, you know what? I'm here being cute for y'all, and I don't have my glasses on. Is therapy, it's affirmations, it's yoga, meditation, and video journaling. What a beautiful thing. I love to hear that. I love to hear about how you're taking care of yourself as a woman in society today, because it is so important to keep track of the way that you're taking care of yourself. I know that now, as during the pandemic, I decided to take my self-care very seriously, my mental health very seriously. I participate in therapy. I recommend therapy to everyone. And if you're talking to, I know my therapist continues to encourage me to journal, to get my thoughts out, to be able to express myself. And Takai says, yes, I had to become very intentional about my self-care. And it's also important for me to teach my daughters as well. And I love that you said that, because self-care is something that we as a community have really, I think, if I could say, isolated. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to go to the salon. And maybe that's something that we do for self-care. But you know what? There's a lot of heaviness in walking through the world looking like you and me. And I talk about that in this book, in many different instances where, you know, walking around the world as a Black woman in corporate America, dating, in school. I have a story inside this book, and I know that we know a lot of young people who are so bright. And I have a story in my book where I was in AP classes. So I was in honors track in my high school, and I had a lot of different friends of different nationalities. And I remember distinctly having a friend of mine who happened to be Laotian, so she's Asian American, and she used to copy me in school. She would copy my work, and I would charge her. Okay, she would copy my work, and I would charge her. And I remember distinctly one time where she copied my work, and we had the exact same answers because she was out the night before partying, and I was not. I was being a student and being studious. And we had the same exact answers. And I don't lie to y'all, this woman got an A and I got a B minus. Same exact answers. And those kind of girl, yes, 100%, it's the truth. And it's like these kind of microaggressions happen all the time. And as a young professional or someone walking through the world, when you have that same experience as an adult person, of a person of color, when do you get a moment to process those things so that you can come up with what do you say in those instances? I have a story in the book where I was visiting my not my direct superior, but literally the CEO of my company where I was working at the time. And it was a fancy house, y'all. It was a mansion, like big, okay, like big. And we were in their private community. We had to go through the gated community, okay. And we were there in that event. And that was the first time that I was spending time with my colleagues who did not look like me. And outside of work. It's my first time doing this. And I was a young adult, young professional. And at the time, I was wearing Tiffany blue nail polish. Y'all know Tiffany blue nail polish, that beautiful blue that says, I spent some money at Tiffany's, I spent some money at this jewelry company. That color happened to be popular at the time. And I remember going to that event, and one of my coworkers decided to really go in on me about how my nail polish was like so loud and how it was so interesting that I felt comfortable wearing such a fun color and wearing this fun color at this corporate event on my nails. And I don't lie to you, the director of HR, who happened to be a white woman, was wearing the exact same color because we were of the same age. And she also was hip to the game and loved the Tiffany blue. And do you know that that same person looked at her nail polish and said, wow, that is so beautiful. That is so trendy. That is so awesome. So these are the things that happen, okay? When you're a woman of color and you're just walking through the world as yourself, there's nothing that you're doing wrong, but the societal pressures can show up in so many different ways where it can little by little push you to change who you are, push the way that you show up in the world, and encourage you to change who you are as a person when in fact there's absolutely nothing wrong with the way that you're walking through the world. And so these are things that we talk about in stumbling through adulthood. Like I said, I peel back and share some stories that I felt like were important to know as you are walking through the world as a woman of color. So this is a great gift for a young person in your world. Thank you.
Girl, that's a gift for us, for ourselves. First of all, start a little book club, okay? You and your nieces, your little cousins, get it together. I have never personally had the experience of working in corporate America, so I have not had to experience some of those things that you mentioned, but it is those very reasons why I am so unapologetically creating resources for Black women. I am very loud and proud with the fact that the work that I do is specifically created for Black women, because there are very few spaces that are created as safe spaces for us to show up and be ourselves and lean into our softness. We don't often get that opportunity. So thank you so much, Vivian. We enjoyed you as usual. Y'all make sure you follow my girl on Instagram at Vivian Olo. Check her out online, vivianolodun.com. Oloduni.com to grab her book, and make sure y'all support. Thank you, Vivian. All right, y'all. Is she the bomb.com, or is she just amazing? I mean, she's amazing. So we are going to keep this thing going with our last virtual vendor of the evening. I am going to bring you all Tatiana, who is the brains, the beauty, the boss behind Aromatic Perfume Oils.com.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Coriel, for having me. My name is Tatiana, and I am the founder and scent creator of Aromatic Perfume Oils. So I started this brand out of a love for fragrances. I absolutely love oils. I love fragrances. But a challenge that I had, ladies, was that some of the regular fragrances on the market was causing me allergic reactions. So there were times where I would be spraying perfumes and I could not bear it, even though I love the fragrances, I love the smell. I couldn't tolerate it just because there was just some ingredients in there. The alcohol really irritated my senses. And so what I wanted to do and what I set out to do on my journey was to come up with the oil-based fragrance brand that's handcrafted by me with non-toxic, hyperallergenic, and skin-safe ingredients to give people all over an alternative on how to smell good. Because a lot of times when people are dealing with skin sensitivities or allergic reactions, they actually stay away from perfume altogether. But with oil-based fragrances, it's an alternative that I've created. Of course, it's been around, but I wanted to highlight the benefits of oil-based perfumes. And so for those of you that may be suffering with allergies or have reactions and are afraid to try regular perfumes, I have good news for you that aromatic perfume oils can be an alternative for you to include into your regular fragrance routine. And also, if you don't have any allergic reactions, this is still for you as well, because oils is a great fragrance and element that you can incorporate into your everyday activity. So for me, when I started the brand, I thought about, how do I want people to feel? How do I want women to feel? What are some of the emotions? What are some of the feelings that I want people to have when they experience my oils? And so I went on a journey, an aromatic journey, an aromatic discovery to share my creativity through scent. And I came up with 6 delightful fragrances, primarily for women. And they range from sweet to clean to woody to floral. And it's just been an amazing journey for me to share this extension of myself to uplift other people all around the world. So, ladies, before I go forward, why don't you tell me, what kind of scents do you typically go for? What scents resonate with you, right? Are you the type of person you like sweet? Do you like something that smells a little bit like fruit, like strawberry, vanilla? So I want to see in the chat. Hopefully, I can keep up. I want to see what kind of scents do you like? What kind of scents resonates with you? Okay, somebody says I like sweet. Okay, anybody else? I love sweet and warm scents. Okay, good. I love woodsy, sweet, and vanillas. So these are all elements of what makes a fragrance what it is, right? So what we're describing, ladies, are notes. So that is what makes up a blend of fragrances, right? And so I am going to walk you through some of the scents that I have today, actually all of them, because I did 6 in the line. And then I want to hear from you, which one do you think would resonate with you, right? And so fragrance is that unseen accessory. To me, I see fragrance as part of the soft life, right? That's part of my self-care. That's part of my self-love because it's that unseen accessory. The same way that we pay attention to our makeup, we pay attention to our hair, to our outfit, to our accessories. Fragrance is that unseen accessory that for me, when I am going somewhere, I feel not 100% until I wear a fragrance, right? Even if it's just for me, right? And so sometimes it's that subtle mood booster. It's that subtle confidence igniter, right? That's what fragrance does. And so in the collection, I'm going to explain and share with you why I created each one. So the oils, they are concentrated oils. That means that they are not contained with any water or alcohol, and they last better, a little longer on your skin, right? So how many of us, we've worn some perfumes on the market or some body sprays on the market, and after a few hours, we're sniffing, we're like, wait, where was it, right? So sometimes that's what happens with some of the traditional perfumes because of the alcohol. What it does is that it sprays out, right? It evaporates out. But then after a while, you are struggling to smell it, right? And so there's a lot more that goes behind with the formulation. But these oils are concentrated oils, fragrance oils, and they do not contain any water or alcohol. So that means that you can apply them directly on your skin. They have a roller top. You apply it directly on your skin, behind your ears, behind your neck, collarbone area, down your chest area, behind your legs, wherever you want to apply it, you can wear the fragrance, right? So confidence, I'll talk about confidence. And I named each fragrance to reflect a certain mood, to reflect a certain aura that I wanted women to exude and to feel. So confidence has notes of peony, freesia, apricot, sandalwood, and amber. This is one of our fresh, clean scents. So if you're the type of person you say, I don't like anything that's too loud, confidence is for you. Confidence is for you. It has that powdery, soft powder with soft florals. And it is for the woman that wants to exude her inner strength and essence with confidence, right? So then next, we have elegance. Elegance is amazing, y'all. Elegance is that fragrance that's like a lemon pound cake, okay? But it's not 100% a lemon pound cake, but it's so citrusy. Think of your oranges, think of your lemons, think of your patchouli dry down, right? And this one right here is if you want to embody style, grace, and sophistication. So elegance is still in the fresh category, sweet, but it still is going to give you that crisp, like summertime fragrance, but with a beautiful dry down with some powdery musk. So if you think you might like confidence or elegance, drop it down in the chat. Also, we have magnificence. Now, magnificence is a romantic floral. I love magnificence. It's that floral blend with, if you like jasmines, if you like rose and patchouli, this is for the woman that wants to celebrate sensuality and romance, okay? Sensuality and romance is magnificence. And I was very, very particular in terms of how I brought about the fragrances, how I wanted it to reflect out into the marketplace. Aren't these the cutest bottles? Like the shape, everything. I put in so much effort and detail because that is what I want us to exude is excellence, a level of grace, a level of sophistication. So let me move quickly. Next is opulence. Now, opulence is one of our bolder scents. Opulence, think of coffee, think of exotic spices, think of white flowers, vanilla, and patchouli. Opulence. If you like warm, if you like anything that's kind of leans unisex fragrances, you will enjoy opulence. Last two we have is significance. Now, significance is actually the first one I started in the line. And significance is for that woman who wants to capture feminine allure and personality. This is a light floral with red berries, citrus, cashmere, and tonka bean. Absolutely light and beautiful fragrance. And it actually creeps up on you. You don't think that it's either you love it or you're like, you know what? I actually like it and I'm growing to love it. So this is what significance is about. And lastly is succulence. So succulence has cotton candy, raspberry, orange lily, and lily of the valley, orange blossom, vanilla, and musk. So if you like all things sweet, if you like all things candy, if you like all things that's gonna make you, feel like somebody's gonna eat, try to eat off of you or something like that, succulence is the fragrance that you want to go to. Okay. So, ladies, can you blend your perfume oils? Absolutely, you can. How do you make your fragrances last longer? You want to wear your fragrances starting on clean skin, right? And always remember that whatever you smell on someone else, it may not smell the same on you. So think about body chemistry as you are wearing your fragrance, as you're trying out different perfumes. You want to test things out on your skin. And the wonderful thing about oils, it works with your body chemistry. All right. So how do you make a perfume last longer? Start on clean skin, apply lotion or a heavy butter. One of the things that I like to do is also apply like a Vaseline into my pulse point areas. And then after I wear my body butter, and then I apply my perfume oil, and that really helps to carry the scent out. If you're asking what is layering, layering is when you want to combine multiple scents to create a new scent. Our fragrances can be layered with each other, or you can layer your own fragrance, something that you may have in your collection. So, for example, let's say that you have a favorite designer fragrance that's already floral and you want to experiment with one of our oils and see how it works together. Absolutely, I would recommend that you do that. So, be creative, right? So, I am proud of this line. I am a Black fragrance creator, perfumer in this space, and I hope that you would consider shopping with us, trying out our fragrances. I do have a scent personality quiz on our website, aromaticperfumeoils.com. And I also have a special 15% off for all of the attendees. So you just type in soft season summit. I'll make sure to put it in the chat, soft season summit in the checkout, and you will get 15% off. And I also help people create their own custom fragrances. So if you are in Houston, if you're in Houston, Texas, I have a workshop taking place on August 26th, which is on Saturday. I have 2 workshops taking place where you can come out and create your own fragrance. It's an interactive, fun experience. If you have always wanted to create your custom scent, I am going to guide you through the process and show you how to do it. It's super fun, it's super interactive, and a great way to meet people. So again, my name is Tatiana, and I'm with Aromatic Perfume Oils. If you have any questions about fragrances or scents or trying to find your signature scent, I am more than happy to assist you. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for having me today. Okay, so let's see if there's any questions. Okay, people are saying sweet and strong scents. Okay, so based off of what I shared, which ones do you think? Okay, I think somebody's about to come on. Okay, here you are.
Hey, no, you're good. You can continue. You can answer that question.
Okay, so based off of the scents that you heard me describe, which one would you be interested in trying out or smelling? I like to mix my fragrance oils with. Yes, Sabrina, I agree with that. Definitely do that.
I have a random question for you.
Sure.
What is the best way to apply a fragrance in a subtle way so that it's not super strong? Is it the wrists? Is it like what's the a subtle way to do it?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. I would say perfume oils, this is going to be as subtle as you get because with and then I'll tell you about the application. So with perfume oils, they stick closer to your skin. It's not going to project out. Yes, you can amplify the fragrance, but in general, perfume oils stick closer to the skin. So if people are concerned about not offending people with where they work, or they don't want they're mindful of other people's sensitivities, perfume oils is an excellent alternative for that. Now, where do you apply it? I would say behind your ears and behind your neck. You could put it within your elbow as well. So that is a very subtle place to apply it.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you are going to, if you send me the correct code, I'll make sure I send it out in the email, in the recap email that goes out tonight for them.
Wonderful. I will. Thank you so much, Coriel, for having me.
Thank you for being here, y'all. Two Black woman perfumers in 2 days. Like, how did God bring us these amazing women? Thank you so much, Tatiana. It was great having you.
Thank you.
Y'all, that concludes our virtual vendor marketplace for today. If you are just tuning in, it is day 2 of the Soft Season Summit. As you can see, my background has changed. Y'all can't see my makeup artist Ari over here off screen, getting us ready for tonight's live tutorial. Before we get into tonight's makeup tutorial, we got a pep talk coming for y'all, okay? We are keeping the conversation going. So I am going to go ahead and introduce our next guest for tonight's pep talk, and then we'll get this going. So let me bring up her bio so we can make sure we put some respect on her name. All right. Jamila Watkins Mallet, widely known as Jamila Divine, is a prolific entrepreneur with a rich history in the lifestyle and design industry. With nearly 20 years of entrepreneurship, I don't believe that. When y'all see her face, you ain't gonna believe it either. With nearly 20 years of entrepreneurship, she established her first successful venture. Oh, let me just keep reading. At the remarkable age of 12. Okay, it's believable now. It's believable. Earning acclaim as a sought-after hair and makeup artist. After 15 years in the beauty realm, Jamila co-founded J Divine Events, an esteemed event management and design firm. Driven by her love for design, she took a leap of faith and co-founded Lauren Wesley Designs, a nationally recognized firm specializing in comprehensive interior design services, renovation management, and home styling. Additionally, Jamila and her team serve as the design team on HGTV's hit show Married to Real Estate with Egypt Sherrod and Mike Jackson. Embracing her passion for uplifting women, Jamila now coaches women who are recovering from grief and domestic violence. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jamila.
Hi, everybody. That's the real nifty bio I put together. I didn't realize it was so fancy. Hi, everybody. I am Jamila Watkins Mallet, better known as Jamila Divine. So I've accomplished a whole lot, right, according to that bio. But my story did not start there. And although it did start at the age of 12, my life started to hit a lot of twists and turns around my junior year of college. So I was at Spelman College, and I was a junior, met a guy, fell in love. 2 months later, got pregnant. At 3 months pregnant, we moved in together. And that is when I started to see that the red flags were coming up. right? So this is back in 2012, 2013. So I dropped out of Spelman because I thought that that was the right thing to do. I was very overwhelmed. I was very lost, very confused, and I just didn't know what life was throwing my way. So, dropped out, went back to school when my daughter was 4 months old. 4 days later, she passed away. And it was, if you're in Atlanta, that was the day of the snowstorm in 2014 where the roads were locked down. You couldn't move. Luckily, and I do thank God for this, is that I left school early and beat that traffic. Because had I still been stuck on that road for 10 or 12 hours, I would have missed final moments with my daughter. So I was 21 at the time. So she passed away from SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. And after her funeral, I went right back to work. I went right back to school. The pain of not having my daughter, I wanted my baby back. And I was so delirious, so delusional. Her father and myself, we got pregnant again with my son because I felt I was suicidal. So I felt like very desperate. I thank God for my son, but I felt like I needed something to live for. And even though that relationship was so toxic, and now looking back, I understand that God was giving me an out. And you want to really be careful and in tune to when God is trying to give you an out. And sometimes it is very, very drastic, but sometimes that's what He has to do. But I felt like, we've both been through this. Nobody else is going to understand what we've gone through. And all we had was each other. So we decided to stay together. Got pregnant with my son, was still in school, started a new business, just doing stuff, because when you go through grief, you are really trying to figure out how to make it feel better. I used to Google, how long does it physically hurt to grieve? Like, how long does grief physically hurt? Because I would feel it all over me. So I was pregnant, took more credits trying to hurry up and finish school so that I could be with my son when he was born. The relationship continued to be more toxic, more emotionally abusive, financially abusive, mentally abusive. And we still got married, we bought a house, all of that, because now I have this baby and I don't have any money because I'm super dependent upon him. And so I really felt like I didn't have options and I didn't have choices. And that's something that I always stress to women, is that you always have a choice. Always. You always have a choice. It does not matter what the circumstance is. It doesn't mean you just pick up and go. A lot of times you should, but you can be strategic, but always know that I'm here right now, but I have a choice at any point in time. So, still in this relationship, it started to become physically abusive. Then infidelity happened. And at that point, I was like, he's doing all these things, but at least he's not cheating on me. Now he's cheating on me. 3 months after that relationship ended, little did I know, his affair, 3 months later, another affair happened, but I didn't know that until 3 years later. This lady slides in my DMs, sending me a picture. I'm gonna just give you all the tea. Sending me a picture with her and my then husband with masks on, because this was during the pandemic. Like, this is recent. Like, this was 2021. So, but to backspace a little bit, that week, so that was on a Friday that I found that out. That Monday, I found out that the person that I knew to be my father was not my biological father. By Wednesday, I found out that my biological father had died when I was 10. And then Friday, I found out about this affair. So thank God that I was working on myself, because at the end of the day, life is going to life, and it can get extremely ghetto, and things are going to happen, right? But from that time in 2014 when she passed away, and then it is 2021 when I found out about the affair and my dad and all of that. In between that time was a lot of healing. As Coriel said, I am an interior designer. So I approach design the same way that I approach life. And that's how I teach women how to design a life that they love. And I use a design framework called the CASE method, which stands for the consultation, the anchors, the shell, and the enhancements. I came up with that method for design, but then when I had my nervous breakdown somewhere around 2018, I felt that something had to change. And I've always been someone who wants to help other women and lift them up. So I had, a nonprofit for pregnancy and infant loss, all these things, still doing things, trying to distract myself from actually healing. I'm like, I'm just going to go help somebody else, because that's what we do, right? We give so much to everybody else because we don't want to have to face the things that we have going on. So back to the CASE method. The consultation is for design, asking the right questions. What's working? What's not working? You can do the same thing in life. What's working? What's not working? Who is lifting me up? Who is tearing me down? What habits do I have that are not, working for me? You're asking yourself these questions. Then you identify the anchors. So in design, I select the anchors for a space. It could be a chandelier, it could be a sofa, a beautiful rug, a large painting. It's what's going to anchor the space that when you walk in, that's what your eye gravitates toward. So for life, I have the 4 F's, which is my faith, my family, my finances, and my fitness, which is my mental fitness and my physical fitness. And then the S is the shell. So when you start designing, you have the anchors. Everything else that surrounds the space has to complement the anchors. So in life, who surrounds you, who you look up to, who supports you, they need to complement what it is you say your anchors are. If faith is an anchor for me, God-led people only, please. Okay. If I say fitness, then I'm not going to go doing things that are going to be detrimental to my fitness. I'm not going to have things around me that distract me from staying healthy, and so on and so forth. Then you have the E, which is the enhancements. And the enhancements, what I realized and when I created the CASE method is that typically people will see something on Instagram or they see something on Pinterest and they're like, I'm going to go do that. Like you go to Home Goods, you get the pillows, you get this, you get that, you bring it home, you put it all up and you realize your home does not look like that picture. The pieces is not hidden at all. And that's because you skip steps. And so in life, when we've gone through a lot of things, we try to go for the enhancements first. So, well, I need to get this kind of car. I need to get this kind of house. I need to get this surgery. I need to get this haircut. I need to get these lip injections. I need to get lashes and brows and purses and all of these different things, thinking that this is what is going to put my life back together. And every time that you get those things, you realize that I'm still sad. I'm still depressed. I'm still broken. I'm still in these toxic cycles. I'm still choosing the wrong people to be around. I'm still in the wrong relationships, even though I know that they are no good for me, but I feel like I'm not worth anything better, and whatever the thought process is. So when I got all of those tools, by the time I was hit with things about my dad, when I was hit with things about the affair, I was not okay, but I was way better than I would be, because obviously I've been through a lot of things that would break the average person. But when you don't skip steps, you build yourself up to be resilient and to continue to move through life and take what's coming and realize that it's a lesson or it's a blessing. You're not so shaken by everything. By the time that precious lamb DM'd me, I was like that SpongeBob meme, like, I'm gonna head out. I filed for divorce the next week because I know that what I have set out for myself and the things that I say that I want for myself, you are not aligning with any of that. And I know what I deserve because I had taken the time to know that I deserve every awesome thing, every blessing in life. And I guarantee you that when you don't skip steps and you are obedient and you are discerning, God will bless your obedience. When my daughter passed away, he was telling me to get out of that relationship, and I suffered. I truly do feel that part of it was not that he was punishing me, but that he was trying to save me, but we have free will. And so I do feel like that was a wake up call. And so when I found out about that affair, I was like, I got to get up out of here because I don't need God to teach me any big old lessons anymore. Like, I'm good with the big lessons. I got it. I'm good. I'm out. And I had made a plan. I saved money. I knew, like, God will do things and he will put people in your life if you remain obedient. Because that Wednesday that I found out that my father had passed away when I was 10 years old, that Wednesday I also found my sister. I've always been the oldest. I had an older sister. I have an older sister and an older brother that I didn't know about. And she is my best friend. From that day, she was with me every step of the way during my divorce. God will put people, and he literally gave me my sister to walk with me so that I didn't feel that I couldn't do it, because I was so used to toxicity. And that's what happens is we get so used to it. I told my therapist, I'm like, I could take them back. Like, I know how to do this. Okay. You cheated, we'll go to therapy. We'll go see the pastor. We'll go see the lady, whatever, and we'll get it together. But I'm like, just because I can doesn't mean I should. Right. So I truly do believe that you can heal your life. I used to walk around and feel like, oh, I'll never be happy again because my daughter passed away. That is a lie from the devil. And the devil cannot command you to do anything. All he can do is make suggestions. And it's up to us to have enough discernment not to give in to the suggestions. That's all he can do. People are like, the enemy this, the enemy that. The enemy can't do anything, honestly. The enemy cannot do anything that God does not already approve. And if God approves it to happen, it's for a reason. But the part of it where we come in is that we have to figure out, what is it that God is trying to teach me in this moment? Learn the lesson so I can move on. When you're in school and you don't pass the test, you have to stay back. So you have to figure out, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning in this moment? And what is it that I am supposed to overcome, not stay in, and move on to the next thing and the next phase of life. Through my obedience, God blessed me with my sister. Literally a week later, I got the call from Egypt to be on HGTV. 2 months later, I met the love of my life. 18 months later, we were married. New house, new car. I gave everything back. I did not take alimony. I didn't take the house. I could have walked away with multiple six figures, and I left it all because I knew that God would bless me tenfold. So sometimes we are trying to hold on to these breadcrumbs when God has a whole bakery ready for us if we just believe that we deserve better and that we are worth more. And that no matter what you go through in life, you are worthy. And I see a lot of people in the chat. Is there anybody who resonates with what I'm saying? Is there anybody who has been, drop a purple heart if you have been in a domestic violence situation. I want you to drop a white heart if you've experienced the loss of a child, whether it was a miscarriage, stillborn, any of that. And some of you might be dropping purple, white, all of that. It doesn't matter. I count it all a blessing, because if I hadn't gone through that, I would not be able to be here with you right now, sharing this message that some of you all need right this moment. Your obedience is attached to somebody else's destiny. So as long as we sit here and hide behind our story and are ashamed of our story, we are robbing someone else of their healing. I truly, truly believe that when you are hit with trials and tribulations, it means that you are chosen. It does not mean that you are forgotten about. It means that you have been chosen and you have been given a charge to help someone else and to go through that so that you can help the next person. Because our life is not our own. Our life belongs to Jesus. And Jesus laid his life down, and we are charged to lay our life down, figuratively, some literally, but we all have a purpose and a charge. And I hope I'm not over time or too short. I don't know. But I really do I am over time, sorry. I really do appreciate all of you for showing up. I'm completely humbled, and I count it a privilege to be here with you all. And I love you so much. Follow me on Instagram at Jamila Divine. And send me a DM if this message hit you and if you need to talk a little bit more. If you need to unpack some things, I am here for you guys. So thank you.
Jamila, that was powerful. I hope that you found healing in sharing that. I definitely, from like the first few seconds, it was very relatable. And I think even if anyone listening hasn't experienced everything, I think we've all experienced something. And so to see your resilience, right? To see the way that God even lined up the blessings that came after, right? I think that is definitely inspiration for a lot of us, that even if you are going through something that you cannot see the other side, I call it the hallway. Even if you find yourself in that dark hallway, stuck between where you were and no clue where you're going, just know that God didn't put you there for no reason. Every single part of your story is playing out perfectly. It's all in alignment. You just have to try to keep your head above water for long enough to see the path. So thank you so much, Jamila, for being here. Y'all make sure you connect with Jamila. Wait a minute. I didn't put an extra H in your name. Make sure y'all connect with Jamila on Instagram. We right now, right? Perfect. At Jamila Divine. Jamila, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here at the summit.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Whew. I feel like I need to take a break, take a breath. Y'all, if you noticed, we are in transition. I do want to just take seriously just like a moment of silence for anyone who is, feeling some type of way right now. If you are in your feeling, if you're in your feelings, if that struck a nerve, if it touched home, if you need a moment, that is the purpose of this summit. That is the power of this community. It's all about creating a safe space where there is no shame. There should not be any fear. You can put your pride aside. We've all been through so many of the same things. There's no judgment here. This is truly a safe space for you to lean into your softness. And so we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to continue the transition. The next portion of tonight's Soft Season Summit is our makeup tutorial. So this is going to be a little lighthearted because I hate getting my makeup done, y'all. And y'all are about to get in on this process. While we are doing this makeup tutorial, though, and getting ready for our fireside chat, which is why I'm barefaced now, if you were wondering, I have an invitation for y'all that I told you about. So we're going to go ahead and get the makeup tutorial started. I'm going to share my screen. Y'all can ask questions in the chat. If you have questions now, if you're like, girl, my makeup be hit, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, please drop your questions in the chat. I'm gonna ask you my questions because I need a refresher. I be messing my little makeup up. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and are you gonna talk us through it? What are you gonna do?
I could do that.
Okay, but before you start talking us through it, let me share my screen. Do you want to give yourself an introduction? Come on the camera so I can see you. Come on over. Hey girl, hey, come on, you look so beautiful. She did her makeup to come do my makeup. This is Ari, the celebrity makeup artist extraordinaire. She specializes in express beats, 30 minutes or less. I would have her set a timer. She probably already has her timer set, but I'm gonna be slowing her down because we're gonna be talking through it. But just know, if you book her, she's gonna be done in 30 minutes or less, okay? Yes. All right, we can get started. Now, as we are getting started, my eyebrows are awful. They are terrible. Yeah. Let me explain why. Why are they awful and terrible?
You probably don't have no time to go get them done.
I don't have time to get them done, but I actually got, what's it called?
Oh, microblading.
I got microblading, y'all, and I have not gotten it done over, and I let them grow in. And she's annoyed with me every time because I don't let her shave them. So here we are. If y'all can multitask, can y'all multitask? I think you can multitask. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I have an exclusive invitation that I'm about to drop for y'all. You're the first to hear it. Let me see if it's going to let me. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let me just introduce y'all to Grown Woman Weekend. Okay, if you have been enjoying your experience here at the Soft Season Summit, drop an emoji in the chat. Whatever is your last used emoji, drop an emoji in the chat if you have been enjoying this conversation, if you have been enjoying the connections, if this has been a therapeutic experience for you, drop an emoji in the chat. Before I start running my mouth about why you absolutely cannot afford to miss Grown Woman Weekend, drop an emoji in the chat. I think I'm frozen. Am I frozen? I look frozen on my end. And I don't see no emojis, so I'm going to wait until I see an emoji so I know I'm not frozen. I'm good still? It's not good on my end. I'll wait. I'll let them see you fix my eyebrows while I'm waiting on an emoji. See? Yeah, look.
Yeah, everyone can see everyone's dropping emojis.
Really? So it's just me? That's so ghetto. Okay, hold on. Let me find myself back, guys. Don't judge me. We're being real fancy. You can still see? My screen's not shared no more. I can't run it. We're having technical difficulty, guys. It's okay. We can continue the tutorial because they can see that.
Okay. Can y'all hear?
And while, yeah, they can hear because they're dropping emojis.
So guys, I get on her about her brows because when you're filling in your brows, it just makes it a lot easier when it's just,
When it's not hairy?
some maintenance,
Oh, I see what the problem was. Okay, I'm fixing it now.
that
So
was
what can
something.
they do if their eyebrows look like mine?
So I use eyebrow gel to help tame some of this hair.
Is that what you use it for?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it keeps it in place better.
Someone asked about concealer. I have to wait until it loads back what her question was with concealer. So years ago, I don't even know what year that was, when you did like the tutorial for me, when you taught me how to do it myself. They talking about my eyebrows. Don't do that, y'all. This is supposed to be a safe space. I thought we just said that. I thought we just said safe space. My eyebrows look like 8th grade before I ever got my first wax. I know, it's shameful, but here we are. Okay, I see the emojis now, guys. I'm back. So let me go ahead and share my screen for real.
That was concealer I just used to clean up these brows.
What?
It helps, but it looks better when, you know.
When they're actually hairless.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So you should be able to see me and my screen now. I think we got action. But I'm super excited to introduce y'all to and invite you to be a part of, drumroll please, Grown Woman Weekend, the ultimate intimate retreat experience for grown-ass women like you and me who know that it's time to get your ish together, but you're willing to give yourself some grace as you do so. I told y'all in preparing for this summit that the whole goal was for me to create a safe space for you all to go where you are celebrated and not just tolerated. And if you are like me, even if you're not an introvert like me, if you've ever been to an event and you just kind of felt out of place, like they said this was supposed to be for me, but I get here and I'm not feeling welcome. I'm not feeling like I fit in. If you've ever experienced that and you just don't feel like that tribe matches your vibe, then Grown Woman Weekend was carefully created with you in mind. So I'm bringing Grown Woman Weekend to ATL November 3rd through 5th. And you all here at the Soft Season Summit are the very first people to get invitations, okay? After the summit ends, Grown Woman Weekend is going to be an invitation-only experience. So just by coming here, even if you secured your spot for free $99, you get to skip the application process and you get to save with our special early bird tickets. So what is Grown Woman Weekend all about, and why can y'all no longer see my screen? Let's figure that out. Why is it hating on y'all? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'll talk y'all through it while we're waiting on the screen to come back up. November 3rd through 5th, right here in ATL, a 3-day weekend experience where you are going to get to enjoy everything from wellness treatments to spa and beauty services, empowering conversations, live cooking demos, shopping, champagne bar, and an opportunity to fellowship with your new homegirls, okay? Grown Woman Weekend is November 3rd through 5th right here in ATL, and we have 2 opportunities for you to attend. Of course, we have general admission, and some of y'all don't do anything if you can't slide in there VIP style. So we also have VIP opportunities for you to attend as well. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You can log on to grownwomanweekend.com for more information and to lock in your early bird pass. If you lock in your pass before the summit ends on Thursday, then you can skip the application process. If you sit on the sidelines trying to figure out if you want to be in the building at Grown Woman Weekend, then applications are going to start on Friday. All right, I'm done sharing my screen. I'm done with the invitation. I'm dropping the link in the chat. I feel like the first few people who grab their tickets should get some kind of prize. I don't know what that prize is going to be, but if you are one of the first few people who lock in your ticket to join us at Grown Woman Weekend, which, by the way, will feature some of the amazing women that you are getting to know here at the Soft Season Summit, lock in your ticket. Somebody said I already submitted. Look, y'all aren't playing no games. To be a vendor. You probably submitted to be a vendor. Yes, I will definitely check your vendor application this evening. Okay, questions about makeup. Do you use eyebrow gel before or after brow tint?
I use it after.
I don't think they can see.
Girl. What you have to do?
Should I turn this way?
Just a little.
Give them a good brow.
So I use the gel after I fill it in, and that's just to help in the color, help it to blend in, and also help the hair stay in place.
So why do y'all go back at the beginning and then do like that?
So it kind of gets heavy a little bit in the front. So when you blend it out with the brush, it just, gives it that faded effect, a little more natural, We don't like it to look like Elmo.
Elmo?
Yeah, I say Elmo.
Oh, I need to look at Elmo. I didn't know Elmo had eyebrows.
Girl, the biggest and craziest.
Let me see. What was the question about? What is your she said it never sets. Concealer under her eye.
Oh, so when you place any creams on your face, if you don't set it with a powder, it's gonna crease. So if you're putting that concealer under your eyes and you're not setting it, it's definitely going to crease and it's going to continue to move throughout the day.
What do you set it with? Setting powder? Is that the question with setting powder? What's the difference between yellow, white, and then like sparkly? I got like a pink sparkly one.
Oh, okay. So the white one and the yellow one, that's used under your eyes just to help it brighten it. You can also use it on your skin too if you want to just mattify your skin. But the shimmery one that you're talking about is to like highlight on your face, kind of like where the sun hits you. You just put a little bit of that shimmer to help it pop.
So what's the point of putting it under here?
Just to brighten under your eyes and set that concealer.
Oh, okay.
You gotta set it, girl.
So what about in this hot ass weather? What do we do if you need to do makeup and it's 1,000 degrees outside?
I try to like limit the creams that's used, and I try to not do as many steps just so it's not as heavy on the person's skin. Because you know when it's hot, you're gonna feel it more.
Do you have a recommendation for brow tint?
Brow tint, like a temporary one, there's great brow gels from Benefit Cosmetics. You can find them in Ulta and Sephora. What Coriel did is like the one that lasts, what, a year and a half?
What, micro?
Microblading?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when it's like, I don't want to say tattoo, but it is a tattoo. And they put brow strokes on your brows.
I feel like this part is still there, but not, you see it?
Yeah, it'll
on
start
the tail.
to fade, so you got to go back and get your touch-ups.
Is setting powder the same as translucent powder?
Yeah, you can use them both as a setting powder. When they say set, it's just meaning that you're setting that cream that you put on your face.
What are brands we should stay away from, if any? Are there any that are like absolutely not?
Why do you want me to talk about mine?
Because, okay, let me tell you why.
I'm messing with you.
No, but that's a good question, because when you taught me, I feel like part of my problem was I was using the wrong products. I was using cheap stuff, which I still do use cheap stuff, so I hope you don't say my favorite cheap brand.
No, because I like some of the drugstore and cheaper versions. It just depends, like especially the products with talc in it. If you look at the ingredients, it gives you like a flashback in those products. So you don't
What's that
really
mean?
It's like this white powder that they use, and if they put it in the product, it tends to give you like a flashback on camera.
Are there certain brands that use that or no?
I want to say more of the cheaper brands, honestly. So that's kind of why people like stay away from it, especially artists too. We don't want y'all looking like cats.
So NYX. What's your grade? How do you grade NYX? Is it NYX or NYX?
NYX.
Oh, I never knew that.
What's the scale?
I don't know. ABCD. Oh, wait, don't tell me that. Who's an A? Tell me what brand would be like top of the
Like
line.
top tier?
Yeah.
That would be your Lancome. That would be Charlotte Tilbury. That would be, I'd put Juvia's Place in that range too. They're real affordable, but I'd put them in higher end.
What are you doing right now?
I'm priming your skin. I'm using a primer. This just helps her foundation and the powders. It's going to help it to last longer.
How do you determine which primer? Because I've seen like charcoal primer. I've seen all kinds of. Yeah, I actually have it, but I think I bought it because it's supposed to keep your skin from getting oily, but I don't know that works.
Yeah, so there's different primers. There's usually like 3 to 4 different types you could pick from. And one is like more mattifying if you have oily skin. You have one if you want like a radiant kind of finish. There's dewy. And that's pretty much the 3 ranges you'll see.
Dewy is like greasy?
Not greasy. It's more of like a glisten, like you've been on the beach look.
So I really liked Lip Bar's Fast Face. But I looked greasy every time. Dewy.
Did you say
I feel like I looked... No, probably not. I probably did it wrong. So what do I need to do?
So like whenever you're putting, like how I'm putting foundation now, or if I put concealer, it needs to be set with a powder. So like if you had got a pressed powder that was the same skin tone as you, that would have been good. It wouldn't turn oily.
That's a pressed powder?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did the primer. Now you're doing... What is this?
This is foundation, and this is MAC. I tend to grab MAC a lot. They have a really good color range, so I like them a lot.
Okay. Did I already ask you about what setting powder you recommend for under eye coverage? Did I ask you that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did I ask you, what do you think about eyebrow lamination?
I like it. You're gonna have to keep doing it, like touch it up every, I think it's 3 weeks. But I do like it. It does the same thing as like if you just put the gel on after you fill it in. It's gonna stretch out your brow hairs.
Somebody asked what primer you're using.
I'm using NYX today.
That makes me happy.
So Corio likes more of a dewy, glowy kind of look. And that primer, it specializes with dewy and glowy. So that's why I use that one to give her that finish.
So how come makeup artists never just have one brand in their kit? Is it because like this brand does this good and that brand does that good?
Yeah, certain products like will like better. Like for brows, I like Benefits. Of course, there's hundreds, but I would go in the store to buy Benefit.
Pencil?
That's my favorite.
Do you recommend brow pencil versus the
pomade?
what is that? The little jar? Yeah.
So I usually start with a pencil on everyone. The jar comes in like when they need like a lot of help. Like if they really don't have barely any brows, I would use the jar.
Okay. So if you want them darker, basically, or something.
Yeah, it gives you more of an intense look.
Interesting.
But I always start with a pencil just to see if I even need that.
It is hot as hell. Yes, it is. Do you do makeup in the summer? Like you?
Yeah. Me?
Like every day?
Heck no. See, we don't have time for us, so yeah.
You looking good today, though, girl.
Thanks, girl. I didn't know what you had me doing. If this will be in Jamaica or...
You know, next time. Drop your questions in the chat. As you know, when we're stepping into this soft season, we talked about the perfume, right? Smelling good, looking good, feeling good. All of that goes together. So part of your soft season is looking and feeling the part, but it's also not breaking the bank, okay? And the makeup girlies, they ain't cheap no more, okay? They are not cheap no more. And so being able to do a light beat for yourself, that will definitely soften your life up when you can save some money, okay? So date nights, look is obviously going to be much different from, what are like the different looks that people usually get? Is it just daytime and nighttime?
Yeah, you would put them in those two areas. You got soft glam. That's usually, well, we all define it different, but I usually say that's when you do like eyeshadow. If you got eyeshadow, it's a soft glam.
What do I do?
You do
a basic beat?
Basic soft.
What if you don't have eyeshadow?
I would put that more in a natural realm.
Interesting. So for just like a nice date night, you would probably do more of a natural.
I would go
soft?
depending on what your guy likes. Honestly, I'm like that. I would do more natural or soft.
Okay. You already said what primer are you using. How do you feel about using Milk of Magnesia as a primer?
I used to use that a long time ago. Some of the girlies still like it, but I don't tend to like it. I feel like it flakes up after a while. And we don't got time for that.
We don't have time for that. So what will keep you from having those dry spots? Sometimes when I do my makeup, I get dry spots on my face. Is that because I don't put the spray?
You didn't moisturize. Did you moisturize?
Oh, before the first step. That's the very first step before primer.
Yeah. Because you always want to start with skincare, moisturize, and please use SPF. I think there's like this myth because we are colored, we don't need.
Not colored.
Oh.
She didn't mean to say that.
I'm sorry. Can I get on?
You're on camera. Yeah, they see you. They see you.
Yeah, I didn't mean colored. I meant people of color.
That's better. Yes, that's better.
Because people don't, yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. Yeah, we need to use SPF, guys.
Does most makeup have SPF, or you have to like look for that?
You gotta look for them. They usually put them in moisturizers for the most part, but some foundations do. You just gotta look.
Interesting.
I'm highlighting her face.
How do you decide where to do this? Because every time I see a makeup tutorial, they do different.
They do it different. Generally, you want to put it where the sun would hit on your face. Well, you're being good today.
Am I? Because I feel like jumping back, but I'm trying to behave myself.
So, like, the foundation just makes you, like, flat. And you want to add these highlighted areas back to your face.
What palette are you using right now?
So, for her eyes, I use this nude Persuasion palette. They're on Instagram. It's Believe Beauty. I like them.
Can y'all see? No, it's kind of washed out.
Oh,
Beauty by...
You tilted it.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah.
Can you? No, I feel like it looks really bad.
Okay, never mind.
Maybe I can... No, that'll be too much. I'm going to just tell y'all. Wait, no, I'm not. Bolive. Right? I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's really light.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
It's really
Bolive. There it is.
Believe Beauty.
Believe Butte. Bolive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is. I see you got some, what's it called? Crayon case over here.
Yeah, super thin.
Which products do you like from her collection?
I like her blushes. I like her lipsticks and her makeup wipes. They have been...
I heard very good things about the wipes.
I should have some, but yeah, those are really good.
Okay.
She has a lot of funny colors in the palette, so I don't really do too much of the eyeshadow palettes.
What do you mean? Like bright colors?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's what her brand was. It was like what MAC used to be, I feel like.
Yeah.
MAC used to be.
But none
Is
of
MAC
mine
still like a premier brand?
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, I don't know. I feel like when we were like high school, that was like all that there was. High
If you
school,
were
college.
a MAC girl, you were popping.
Are you still though?
They never called me.
Not you. I mean, is our MAC girls still a thing?
It is, but not like how it
No, it
was.
used to be.
It's so many brands now.
Diamond says, I love crayon case. It's nicely pigmented along with Juvia's Place.
Yeah, we like Juvia's Place.
I've never heard of such. Y'all are real official.
You ain't heard of Juvia's Place?
Not ever.
That's them right here.
Okay, that one's good. Okay,
They're black-owned business.
Clearly,
See?
yes. Okay, we like Juvia's
See,
Place.
my guy saw them in the store. He's like, they have to be black. Black owned, and they are.
They gotta be. Love it.
All their stuff looks like that.
So what do you do in the summer? Because today when I was doing my makeup, I realized I had a tan. So do you just have to have like different shades? Like you gotta have your summer shade when you tan?
Yeah, so for the summer, you want to have another foundation shade that's a shade or two darker. Because you know you're going to tan. And then for the winter, you're going to want one that's 1 to 2 shades lighter.
Really?
Yeah. You never do
So I gotta have a whole kit?
Yeah, girl.
That's 5 shades.
No, it ain't.
You said 2 lighter, 2 darker, and one what I am right now. That's 5. Oh my god.
But it's going to last you a long time just for yourself.
It is, because I already bought me. Well, you didn't. Did you buy a kit?
I think so, yeah. For you to learn.
That stuff lasted a long time. Like I used it for a really long time.
It's just you.
Yeah, true.
Now, my stuff don't, well, y'all kit don't last.
Yeah. How often do you have to replenish? Often?
At least once a month.
Really?
Or maybe every other month.
Is Sacha
Buttercup?
Yes, the holy grail of setting powders or no?
So I feel like that was a couple years ago, but I still vouch for her. I would still buy her. I just kind of got away from her because there's other brands. You know how we do.
Interesting. You had to try something else out.
We're just pressing in this setting powder, this loose powder.
Now, what about? I tried to do my edges today. Could you tell? Could you tell a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you? What's the correct order?
Oh.
Do you get dressed, do your hair, and then your makeup? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all do your makeup, then get dressed, then do your hair? Do you get dressed, do your makeup, and then like what's the order? What's your order of operations? What do y'all do? I think I do.
What you do?
Wait, what do I do?
What the baby?
I think I do dressed last.
Yeah.
So maybe makeup, maybe hair, then makeup, then dressed. I feel like that's what I do. What do you do?
I do makeup, hair, dress.
Makeup, hair, dress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to do your makeup first. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Especially if you're wearing a wig or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks better to me.
True. True. What colors do you recommend to blend the eyeshadows? What palette or colors do you recommend to blend eyeshadows?
So you always want to break your eye up into 3 parts, and you're gonna have a crease, and you're gonna have your outer V, and you're gonna have your lid color. So whatever color you put in this crease, you want it to kind of be next to your skin tone. So whatever color you use on your lid, it'll blend with that crease color. So for Coriel, I use like a soft brown, and I used a little bit of a deeper brown for her, because those are closer to her skin tone.
My eyes are watering. I'm embarrassed. You gotta
Which one?
this one. You got a Q-tip or something. Yeah, my eyes are very, very embarrassing. Oh look, somebody else said their eyes water really bad too. What do you recommend for under eyes if your eyes water? Patience.
Yeah, patience, and you want to try to get it to stop watering, and then you'll probably have to go back in with your setting powder.
It's annoying. My eyes really only water when I get my makeup done. They don't water when I do my own makeup.
It's like
That's
her
just a
eyes
thing.
are sensitive.
They are
if
super
someone
sensitive.
touches it.
They're super sensitive.
Because I see you be rough with your eyes.
I do, and it doesn't bother me. But somebody else even like coming towards my eye, and it's gonna water.
Mm-hmm.
So hair, makeup. Somebody said hair, makeup, then dress. Somebody said makeup,
no.
hair, and then dress. I think that I'm team makeup.
Yeah.
If you're wearing a wig for sure. Now, if you got braids or something, and you're like putting it up in a bun, maybe I would do that first and then do my makeup, because then my hair is out of my face.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it kind of depends.
Like it's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do that.
But
too.
I think we're all in agreement that you're getting dressed last.
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement with that.
Put a little blush in the apples and up to the ear.
Did you do eyeshadow?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I usually don't get eyeshadow, so I didn't know if you. She's trying to be fancy. Lay edges for. Okay, wait. Diamond and gave us a real calendar, a real schedule. She lays edges first, ties them down, then does makeup, then do hair,
Okay.
then get dressed, and then use a makeup cover. Oh wait, and use a makeup cover before you slide your dress over your face. What's a makeup cover? Because I be using a shower cap.
It's like a shower cap, but they just call it makeup cover.
So use the shower cap.
Yeah. Yep. You're doing right.
Okay. I be hot and ready to be done with the whole process. Yeah, I know. She said whatever is fastest. What's a good primer for combination oily skin in the summer?
There's a brand called One Size, and it's at Sephora. He has a really good one, a mattifying primer. I would recommend that one. What's another good one? Another good one is by Glow Recipe. They have a good one.
Glow Recipe.
Mm-hmm. They're also skincare, but they have makeup primer as well.
All right, so we got about 6 more minutes left. Drop your questions in the chat. And then we're going to get into our fireside chat, y'all. So we are talking to my midwife, the midwife, soon to be y'all's favorite midwife. Midwife Christine is in the studio. So all of your questions about womb wellness, about preparing for pregnancy, about parenting, because she's an OG mama, okay?
Okay.
Drop those questions in the chat. We are definitely about to continue this conversation as soon as we wrap up our tutorial. I'm getting y'all a, let's see if I can.
Can we do eyeliner?
Can we do eyeliner? Why are you whispering? Because I hate eyeliner.
What do you like, Coriel? Shoot.
You know, that's a
Y'all
good
should be
question.
nice on here.
I am.
She usually tells me no.
I do, but I'm trying not to be a difficult client on camera.
Okay, so who can I bring a model?
Y'all, she tried to bring a model
I didn't know.
because she didn't want to do me because
No,
I don't be doing basic beats.
it ain't because I ain't want to. I know you don't want me to do everything.
I think you did everything.
Yeah,
This
I
is
pretty
supposed to be
much
a
did.
soft beat.
I
It's
pretty
not
much
soft.
did. Yeah. It'd be the mascara for me. She say no.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is the point of putting on mascara on top of lashes?
Mascara is going to elongate your lashes. It's going to help it blend in better with those lashes that we're about to put on. Remember one time you saw eyeshadow on your lashes before?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to like just blend it all in. Because sometimes these palettes, they have a lot of fallout.
What does that mean?
So some of these palettes, I don't know if you've tried it, but like if you touch it a little bit with your brush, it just starts to fall everywhere.
Like you can't really see it.
No, you can see it. It just starts to, like, some palettes, they get really messy really fast. Like it has fallout. Like if you do it on your face, it'll be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So before you gave me a tutorial, I could never get I could never get eyeshadow to stay on my eyes, like to look like the actual color.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is that because I didn't put primer on my eyes? This
Yeah.
eye is watering. I feel like that lash is gonna be. You gonna do this one first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need to put a primer on because our natural eyelid is really shiny and just everything's gonna move on it because it's so slippery. So you gotta prime it and then place the color. And eyeshadow is like a powder as well. So once you put that primer, you're setting it and it's gonna stay.
So what do you do if you make a mistake or if you put a color on and you don't like it anymore? Was it too late?
If it's like a light color, I would go on top of it.
So what about if you have a client and they are like, okay, I want to do this pink on my eyes and then it don't look good and then they want to change it to a smoky eye or something? Well, I guess you could go darker.
Yeah. So if it's darker, then that's not an issue. But I like to use pictures because I don't have time for that.
Because we're not playing with you.
No.
We're doing what you
We
said.
need to be on the same page.
So let me tell y'all my little hack. My AI makeup hack.
Oh my god.
The AI apps have not figured out fingers yet, y'all. But they have figured out makeup. Okay? They figured out makeup and they figured out hairstyles. So you can definitely use AI for hairstyle ideas and to see different makeup looks on yourself. That's just some free game from the non-makeup girl. What is the eyeliner that you used?
I like to use the Inglot eyeliner.
I'll type it in the chat. Oh, does it have a... Oh, I see it. Oh, Inglot. I think I had this one before.
I probably brought you.
Yeah, you bought it for me.
Inglot number 77.
Oh, number 77. And then, what is the best hypoallergenic? Wait, I can't read it. Hypoallergenic brand for people who are sensitive to eyeliners.
A good one is this Inglot one, and there's one by House Labs. That's Lady Gaga's brand. I like that one a lot.
What about Fenty?
Oh yeah.
Is Fenty any
I'm
good?
Sorry,
No, we don't know. It might. I mean, I
we
don't know.
love Fenty.
Do we?
Yes.
Because you haven't mentioned her, and I don't see any Fenty here anywhere.
We don't have her today, but we love her.
Okay, it's the fake love, guys. What do you like from Fenty?
I like her bronzers, and I like her highlighters, and I like her lipsticks.
Okay, bronzers, highlighters, and lipsticks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if there's any questions that I didn't answer. Sorry, lips.
Can I do this?
Now she really trying me right now, guys. I do not do lip liner. Go ahead, let's do it.
She doesn't. Yeah. I'm sorry.
What's the point of lip liner? And it's not the 90s.
It's gonna give you a powdier look, and it's also gonna help like lipsticks from running. And it just makes it more defined. Why don't we like lip liner?
I feel like middle school.
Girl, you just gotta blend it in.
Let's see. Guys, right now, I look like middle school, don't I?
No,
I know I do.
You don't look like a middle school. And they use black back in the
I was
day.
about to say, we definitely had black.
This is brown. You want to use a color that's 2 tones deeper than you. Let's put some gloss. Cause you like lip gloss.
I like lip gloss and I hate matte. How do you not? Is it moisture? Is that the thing? Because it always breaks up on my lips.
Yeah. If
You have matte on right now, don't you?
I do. If you want, you could use it as a base and then put the gloss on top just to make the color pop some more.
Interesting.
Yeah, you don't have to wear my meds, so I'm wearing meds.
I mean, it seems like everybody wears matte, and that's all this at the stores when I see it. I'm like, how is everybody wearing this? How am I the only one? How do you know which color lip to pair with lips? Which lip liner color to pair with lipstick?
So you want to kind of stay around the color that you're using. So if you're using like a red, you would use a red lip liner or like a burgundy. You want to stay like in that class. If you're using brown or a nude color, you'll use more of a brown shade for your lip liner. What else? Pink. I think brown on us always looks good. It helps everything blend.
All right, is it time for my favorite part?
Yes.
Yay! And then I'm gonna let you give your info here, and then we're gonna go to a commercial break before our fireside chat.
Okay. And we're gonna set it all. She hates that part too.
I usually get up and run, which I'm gonna go ahead and do.
Girl.
All right, tell them your info so they can book you.
Hey guys. Y'all ain't see me the whole time. Hey guys, my name is Ari, also known as Ariel Antoinette, and I am a professional makeup artist. It's been 11 years, and y'all can find me on Instagram at Ariel Antoinette _makeup, and you can also find me on all other platforms the same as well. And my website is doubleamakeup.com. That's the word double a makeup.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye guys.
Time for a commercial break. Let me see. What's happening? Am I up there? Why?
It's just the way we're built. I think that's the way God made us. I think it takes a lot for what's the word? A man needs respect in the world, especially a black man.
In his home, for sure.
So if a woman doesn't respect a man, it's only a matter of time for that relationship to end, honestly. Because that is his one thing that's going to drive him, that respect and adoration of his woman.
So does respect, how is submission related to respect? Or are they unrelated?
I think it's almost one and the same. I think you have to respect a man in order to submit to him. You have to. And I think submission has gotten a bad rap.
It has.
Because most people, I won't even say women, most people don't want to be controlled. So they see submission as a form of control.
Y'all. So the 90-day rule that your daddy talk about, when was that in your life? Because I just feel like
that's not applicable for me. That's not applicable for me.
Why is that not applicable?
Because I think that the choice to have sex or be intimate with someone is your choice.
I agree 1,000%.
It's your choice. I don't think that a time frame or I have to have this many outings with the dates with this person. I have to go out
wait till you start this date on the calendar.
Or here's 90 days. Well, if I'm feeling frisky, baby, I'm feeling frisky. You know, I might, I like.
Said 9 days, baby.
It could be. It could be.
Listen.
It could be. The possibilities are
It's there. It's there.
I don't adhere to that because I think that that's a choice that you have to make for yourself. And I think there have been couples who have had sex on the very first date and had a long, prosperous, wonderful marriage and relationship. And I think it's people who've waited 2 years and have had a shit show of a marriage.
Yeah. How do you feel about that rule in particular? And then what's your perspective on sex and dating?
Okay. So that rule in particular, I'm not a fan of specific rules like that. And don't get me wrong, I get it, because I guess you could argue some of the things that I teach are rules. I just think that hard deadline timelines like that they can be tricky because, okay, You may have been dating him for 90 days, but you don't know him in 90 days because you haven't had the tough conversations. You're not asking the right questions. You know what I'm saying? And even if he lasted 90 days, he may have been acting a fool the whole 90 days. Just because he's still around doesn't mean, oh, now it's time to move forward and get, get together that way. So to me, it's less about the 90 days specifically, and it's about the work that was supposed to be done in the 90 days. Now, if you complete that work in 30 days and you know what you're getting yourself into and you know what he wants, and you guys are on the same page, y'all are grown adults. Y'all can make your choice. But again, it's not the specific time, it's the work.
I haven't really met too many successful men or women that were not married, because the time that you take for those phone calls, those people pulling at your spirit all the time. I would like to have one person that I can focus on, and that I think that with my mentor is David Moody. Like, he reinstilled my belief in society, but especially Black men. 'Cause he don't cheat on his wife. He believes that his wife is directly connected to all of his blessings, and the thing that a lot of people don't talk about with him, he's one of the most successful businessmen in Atlanta. His wife held a family down when the business wouldn't work. She was a nurse, and watch what she did. This was so pimping to me. She worked at night as a nurse and on the weekends. So she would always be home for the children and be able to take care of the house. And then when he came home, and she went to be a nurse. So imagine how much sleep she got. But when his business boomed, she didn't have to do shit for the rest of her life if she chose to. And she's still one of the most hardworking women that I've ever, Miss Carla Moody, still to this day is one of the most hardworking women that I've ever seen.
Do you feel like, hindsight being 2020, there were signs, red flags? And if so, share some of those, because a lot of people think that the red flag is this big thing, but sometimes it's subtle.
It's very
but
subtle.
I think all of the time we know.
Well, the Holy Spirit is subtle. People say to trust your gut. My acronym for gut is God uttering timeout. And I think we have to put context into what it is that we're feeling. If we think it's us, then we can doubt us. But if we say, the Holy Spirit loves me so much, the Holy Spirit is going to lead me, guide me, provide for me, and protect me, then I need to listen. I get the blessing of listening. I am blessed to be able to hear. I may not know fully what I'm hearing, how to process it. Going through counsel, well, it wasn't just going through counseling. It was after I called things off. That's when I became truly Inspector Gadget. I still had some of his passwords.
Started doing a little digging. So I had a question here about the fact that you are successful. You are a successful mother who's a single woman. And you are not letting that slow you down.
Absolutely not.
So that, I think, is inspiration and gives some hope for people who feel like, I gotta wait until my child does X, Y, and Z. I gotta wait until. What does that look like?
Mango Mint reimagines the way you manage your daily operations with one goal in mind: to make running your.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Not the YouTube ad, y'all. Okay, it was supposed to be a commercial break, but we are not paying no YouTube bills up in here. Which AI app? So I personally love the Remini app. It's REMINI. They have the most accurate AI, in my opinion. So check them out. You can definitely get some makeup inspiration, some hairstyles, some fashions, all that good stuff. But without further ado, y'all, we have a very special guest in the building. So if y'all are loyal to Girl Stop Playing, then my midwife, Christine, is no stranger. She's about to be your favorite midwife. Her new podcast is going to be dropping soon. And if you are not familiar, you're going to get real familiar. So without further ado, hey girl, hey, midwife Christine is in the studio.
Thank you.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
You know all of the answers.
I don't,
you do.
but I'm going to try.
You got all the answers. I think Christine knows everything. There's literally nothing that
Girl,
I think of
no.
that you're not the person. Like, if I got to text somebody, I literally text you some random shit last week. Like,
I love it when you do.
What is my nipple doing right now? And you had the answer. So introduce yourself, first of all, because, I just have a special place in my heart for who you are to me. But let the people know who you are.
Thank you, Coriel. I am Christine Taylor. I am a certified nurse midwife and owner of Birth by Grace Midwifery Services. My office is down in Tyrone, Georgia, which is 20 minutes from the airport. A lot of people from Atlanta are like, I've never heard of Tyrone. But we're not far. So, but we provide home birth services and midwifery care and supportive services for moms giving birth in the hospital setting as well.
So let's get into this conversation. I think it's perfect. Again, I keep saying that God is lining this thing up because the order in which these conversations are having, I could not have planned them out in this way. So earlier, I know that you were tuned in, but Jamila was sharing about, her unfortunate circumstances of losing a child to SIDS. We've had several conversations around fertility issues and fibroids and just all of the things. And instead of just throwing opinions back and forth, I felt like we should bring in the big guns, and that is you. Lots of pressure, right? No pressure. But I just really want to have a conversation to normalize the conversation because a lot of times when we experience certain things for the first time ourselves, when we don't know of anybody else that's gone through things, it's a very isolating experience. And this is meant to be a safe space. So I want to start with how I ended up getting to know you, which was being pregnant and not knowing what the hell was going on. So I feel like a lot of people, and you tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of people learn about pregnancy
during pregnancy. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is too late.
It's too late because the baby is in there and they got to get out, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of way got to get out.
Correct.
So what are some maybe like little known things, most common misconceptions? Like for somebody out there who's never been pregnant, never had a baby, what are some things that they should know?
Oh, gosh.
I know, right?
Like how many things?
What comes to mind first?
Choosing your provider wisely because that is really going to navigate and determine your experience as a patient and as a mother preparing to give birth to a baby, to your baby. That's probably the first thing I would say is at the top of the list of things to know. Like choose a provider that's going to be in alignment with what you want, what you desire, who's going to respect you. Because there are doctors out here, a lot of physicians out here where you go in their offices and you ask a question and you're fired for asking a question.
Who knew that was a thing? That your doctor will dump you.
Your doctor will dump you.
How's that legal? Because they're private practices?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's weird.
But it's unfortunate because if I can't ask you a question, but then I'm supposed to lay on my back and you stand in front of me and trust you with my body and my baby and my birth, how is this going to work?
How does that math make sense?
Correct. It doesn't. The next thing I would probably say is really making sure you're on a healthy path as far as your lifestyle goes, because there are many different factors that can affect your pregnancy and your birth, your labor, let's say, and your birth and your postpartum period. So making sure that you're making the right decisions during pregnancy as far as your nutrition goes and your fitness, your health, just as a whole person is going to be also very vital.
So taking a step back, pre-pregnancy, because there's some pre-moms who are planning ahead, they're being proactive, which I think is phenomenal because very rarely do we prepare ourselves for the things we want personally like we do for the things we want professionally. So most women, I'm not gonna say all, but most women at some point have felt like, okay, maybe I would like to be a mother one day. Most women have not prepared for what that might look like. So aside from nutrition, because they don't want to hear that.
You didn't want to hear it either,
I didn't want to hear that. I'm eating for 12, okay? Don't tell me I need to. Who knew there was a threshold? Anyway, they don't want to hear that.
Okay.
What are some things that they might actually do to prepare their bodies, even mentally, like mentally, physically? What can we start doing right now before we even get pregnant?
So a lot of pregnancy, the whole pregnancy journey and birth and labor and the whole process starts in your mind. It's very mental. And so if we have pre-existing issues, anxiety, depression, those things you do want to make sure you are, seeking care for, so that, because there's a lot of transition going on. When you are pregnant and you are preparing to give birth, like there's so many phases of change happening. And, your mental status and your mental health is a real big deal. Just because, how are you going to cope with change? especially when you have this little person on the way. Like, how are your coping mechanisms gonna? You know what I mean? Like, do you have that in place yet, or have you thought about that first? You know, because we all love the little babies and things, but I'm gonna tell you, as a mom of two, you're a mom of two. There is just highs and lows of the whole situation. The whole lifestyle of mommyhood is just filled with so many different changes and transitions, just period.
And some things you can't, we're talking about preparation, right? But some things you truly cannot prepare for. That moment when you are literally left alone, when like the village has gone. If you're blessed enough to have the village, when the village goes back to where they belong and it's you and the baby, that I think is something that you can't truly prepare for. But having the village, having the community, having resources, and just having these proactive conversations, I think will hopefully make it a easier, smoother transition.
Definitely.
Less stressful.
Definitely.
But it is a transition.
Definitely tapping into your support people, your spouse or partner, you know, discussing each other's roles and what does the relationship look like now versus when a baby gets here.
Yeah.
You know, where is the village of people? That we run into many issues here where we have a lot of families moving from their home base, right? There are a lot of transplants, they call them. So, like, I'm a transplant, I'm from Chicago. But they move and start a family. But they've moved away from their support team and their grandma and aunties and cousins and all the people who can help them. And so there are a lot of families in isolation here who are just kind of thugging it out.
Yep.
Because they don't have that support. And it is hard to meet new people, right? New friends at some age is like hard to do.
It is.
You know, especially when you have babies and it's just different.
And when you are in transition in your life. Like, it's hard to intentionally do for you, especially in terms of like starting relationships and nurturing relationships. When it's so much newness, when you are trying to get a hold on yourself as a mom and then this baby. So I think that the mental toll that a lot of the pieces from pregnancy to becoming a parent, the mental part, I think, is what we're not focused enough on and we're not preparing enough for.
Right.
Because I know, you know, when I had my first child, that was like my first phone call to you was like, okay, who should I talk to about this? Like, what is happening? Like, I literally remember being in the closet, like, crying. Like, what is going on? And not crying because I'm sad or you don't know why you crying.
Just overwhelmed.
Just overwhelmed with newness. And to your point, so many, like, millennials got the hell on. We did not go back to our hometowns. We left and started anew.
I'm like the last of the millennials.
You know, you in there.
I'm the last.
But it's all cool until that kid come along and then it's like you looking around.
Hello,
and ain't nobody on the other end of that. So I think, again, being proactive, having that support is super important, and being intentional is important as well. When it comes to home birth, is home birth a taboo topic anymore, or has it become normalized?
I don't think it's normalized yet, but it is becoming more of a topic and more on Front Street, you know.
So let's talk about the history of home birth and the fact that historically birth happened at home. Because why? Black people, you know,
we weren't allowed in hospitals.
We had to fend for ourselves. We had to look to each other and to our midwife.
Correct.
Right? And so talk a little bit about that history, because I think it's just crazy that history is being rewritten to seem like we started in the hospitals.
Correct. So we didn't start in the hospitals, of course. So even birthing in the hospital became like a classism event, right? I got money. Oh, girl, you can just go to the hospital and have your baby. Why would you want to have your baby at home? You can go get all these medicines and doctors can help the baby come out and you don't have to feel anything. Like, that was available. That was the available option for white women, right? And so, you know, home birth was where babies were born, period. Like, home was where the birth was, you know what I'm saying? And the midwife in the community would come and help the moms in labor. She'd be there for days and weeks to take care of the mother and the baby. and then she'd go home.
Days and weeks.
Yeah.
So
they
you-
spend the night and stay, and
You be sticking around?
who?
You.
Oh, no.
Oh,
back
okay.
then.
Oh, back then. Okay. Historically, got
I
you.
go home.
Okay, got you. Historically.
But yeah, so that was the norm. Okay. And then we had the government came in, the white male physicians came in, and they basically tried to regulate all of the black midwives, like, okay, you all can no longer do this, that, and the third, and this is how you're going to do it now. Okay. And so and then you have to go get a certification and all these things, right? And so that was a barrier as well. Like, some midwives are like, well, I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Or we got to do these things. Or they couldn't do it. So they couldn't practice any longer, for different reasons. And so, the black midwife was just basically phased out. She was criminalized. If you were caught midwifing, you'd be punished. And if, you didn't comply with regulations, then you would be, prosecuted.
What were you doing before becoming a midwife that led to you taking on this new purpose for your life?
I was a labor and delivery nurse, so I thought that was my end goal there until I met my first midwife, who was a black woman named Mika Hall. She's a home birth midwife in Savannah, Georgia. And my homegirl from Chicago, and she was the first midwife birth I had attended, and I'm looking like, where's the physician? Who are you? She's like, I'm the midwife, and we're gonna, and it was just, I was just.
So what were you in school at the time, or what?
No, I was a nurse. I was a registered nurse.
So how were you attending this home birth?
Oh, you talking about home birth? I'm sorry, I thought you meant before home birth.
Oh, so she was doing a birth in the hospital.
Yes, we were both in the hospital.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And she just opened my eyes to midwifery. I was like, oh, this is a thing, so I'm gonna do that. So I don't come from a long lineage of midwives. Like, she was a midwife I clung on to. She's my mentor to this day. And I went back immediately into midwifery school to get my master's degree.
So is that the transition? You were an RN and then you get a midwifery degree.
Yes, it's a master's degree.
Gotcha. Okay. So for people out there watching who did not, because you didn't even know that this was really an option, and the same with me when I was a teacher. It's like in your mind you have made up
where you're gonna go.
This is where I can go, and that's the ceiling. But for so many people who, healthcare is so similar to education because it's like you get in it. We usually get in it for the right reasons. Like, we have a heart.
That is
we
correct.
Want to help.
That is
and
correct.
And then the good ones end up leaving because they realize the system is not built to be helpful.
Same for midwifery.
Exactly the same. It's like healthcare and education are not really meant to.
Because you get in and you see that it's not about the people that you are doing this for.
So usually the good people end up leaving because they don't want to be a part of the problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have midwives that contact me. I want to get out the hospital. I can't stand it. It's abusive. It's hostile. I have to get out of here. How do I do it? And home birth kind of fell into my lap because I was a single mom coming down here 8 years ago with the girls, and I was always at the hospital working as a midwife. I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this anymore.
So you became a midwife, but you worked in the hospital?
Yes, I worked in the hospital first.
Okay.
And when I moved to Atlanta, I worked in the hospital as a midwife.
And then
I was introduced to home birth
Gotcha.
by the same midwife who mentored me in Chicago.
So, honest question. Did you ever feel like home birth was riskier than hospital birth?
Never.
Never. That is actually kind of scary coming from the hospital because you started off in the hospital.
That's correct.
Why? Expound on that.
Birth at home does not look like birth in the hospital. Okay, so for women who want to birth at home, the hospital is not the place you need to be. Let me rephrase that. For women who want to experience natural unmedicated birth, the hospital is not the place designed for you. The hospital setting is designed to control your birth, to medically manage your birth, to hurry up, have the baby, and get out. And that's just the bottom line. It's about systems. It's about money. It's about business. Watch The Business of Being Born. That's the #1 documentary to be watching if you're interested in what hospital birth is all about. But home birth is a great place for healthy women who have no, serious medical conditions to give birth.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that because for somebody watching this who may not even be a good candidate, what does that look like? Like, what if somebody calls you for a consultation? What would they say to you that would be like, okay, no, I wouldn't recommend.
I have hypertension and I'm on medication for it. Pre-pregnancy. I have diabetes and I'm on insulin. You know, I've had 4 C-sections.
Where do you draw the line? Because the word on the curb, the rumor is, once you've had 1 C-section, you're
automatically have to have more.
You are advised to have a C-section if you have another baby.
Yeah, but and the research shows different. The research shows
your girl shows different,
honey. Because the way you was on my phone laboring in the tub,
because your girl did that.
Okay,
your girl did that.
We had a whole VBAC.
But don't let them tell you. That's the thing, because they luckily I had Kaiser, and you know, I don't know if it's a Kaiser thing, but the people I saw didn't try to convince me otherwise. But I've talked to so many people that will try to discourage you from even trying to have a vaginal delivery after a C-section, which goes back to what you were saying with choosing your provider, knowing that that's even a choice. I feel like somebody watching this didn't even know that they had a choice in the matter.
That's correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, VBACs aren't widely supported. You have to find the physician, the practice that is going to support your vision for your birth.
So where do you draw the line? You have a line though, right? You said 4. Is 4 the line? You like, girl, somebody about to call my line tomorrow that's had 3 C-sections. I just want to know. I don't know.
I support women to have VBACs who've had a vaginal birth already.
Gotcha.
Not primary VBACs, meaning you've had a cesarean and no vaginal deliveries. That's my own personal practice.
Okay.
My midwifery colleagues, they are happy to support first-time VBACers at home.
Gotcha.
It's just a personal thing, like with anything.
That's what I learned, though, is that it's really up to the doctor. That is, you know, who's making the recommendation.
It's up to the midwife. Whatever everyone's comfortable with. That's why we say interview 2 or 3 of us, you know, so that you can find the right fit for you. You know, and you know, I can refer you to my homegirl who accepts and you know takes care of women that like you. You know what I'm saying?
So, what about twins? Do you?
We've been really close to having twins, but it's always something that comes up that transfers them
but
out.
you're open to it. It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
I think Summer Walker had her twins at home.
Who?
Don't act like that.
No, I didn't hear you.
Summer Walker.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna say who again? I thought you didn't know who it was. Okay.
And I started. I was like, well, damn, you go, girl.
With Erykah Badu right by her side.
I love it. I love all of it.
Someone asked about fibroids. Are fibroids a challenge? Well, we know fibroids are a challenge, but is that a challenge with home birth, with VBAC? Like, how do fibroids
Not
play
all
a
the
role?
time. It depends on the size of the fibroid, and it also depends on the location. Where is it in your uterus?
Case by case.
It's case by case. Is the fibroid blocking the cervix? You know, what dilates for the baby to come out? Is it obstructing that area? Where is the fibroid? How big is the fibroid? You know, because fibroids can come with their own challenges and risks. So it depends on what type of fibroid we're talking about.
Okay. On the topic of fibroids, do you have an opinion on like what the root cause of fibroids really is? Because the alarming number of Black women specifically that are made to feel like you should expect it because you're a Black woman, I think that that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's a very common condition with Black women, very common. And I know that nutrition has a huge factor in it. You know, it's also hereditary, you know. There are many different factors that can affect, like, you know, fibroid growth and fibroid even shrinkage, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's just one of the challenges we do deal with as Black women for sure. But it doesn't always rule you out for options.
Yeah, for getting pregnant, for staying pregnant, for having multiple babies, healthy babies, vaginal delivery. Is that typically a reason why they try to suggest a C-section? Fibroids. Is that
it
one of the
depends
reasons?
Again on where it is.
Okay.
You know, it depends on the size of it. You know, if it's in the muscle, is it on the? You know, it's a lot of different factors that would influence a decision.
I have another question, and I don't know if you know the answer for it.
Okay.
Don't look at my notes. I saw you trying to look at my questions. Abortion.
Okay.
Are there? My assumption is there are, but are there any lingering effects that you know of from having an abortion? Can that affect?
More so multiple abortions. Like there's some women who might use abortion as birth control, right? Like,
that is really a thing.
It is. And so we talk about what type of abortion are we talking about? A medical abortion where they're scraping the uterine wall multiple times. That can cause some damage to the uterine lining when you are seeking pregnancy. And it can cause some difficulties getting pregnant once you do want to carry a baby or conceive, right? So that is something that it's determined on like what type of abortion we're talking about, for sure.
So is that like a question you ask in your consultations? Is that like a thing? Have you ever had an abortion or no?
You know what? I haven't. Well, it is in the screening. Yes, it is. It's a question. But that doesn't really affect care.
Same with miscarriages?
Miscarriages are different because there's so many reasons miscarriages happen.
What are the reasons? That was going to be my next question. Because why?
There's so many reasons. So many.
It could literally just be anything.
It could be anything. It could be hormonal.
So
it can just be structural. Is the anatomy right and correct? Miscarriage, and that's a soft spot for me because a lot of women have miscarriages multiple times and they're just not able to carry and it's
tough. That is sad. I mean, I don't know much that's
and
sadder
so
than that.
for women who have experienced multiple losses, I mean, you definitely need to have a doctor on board to follow you and do your levels and just keep a really good eye on you and make sure you're on all the supplemental meds that you might need to carry your baby to full term.
So someone asked about iron struggles, like someone who's struggling with iron. What would that recommendation be? Like if someone came to you and they are interested in a home birth, but does it matter like what their iron levels are, or is it
iron
automatic?
is a very common iron deficiency is a very common condition, especially for Black women. I don't know why that is, but that's something we struggle with all the time with moms, and we just have them on different herbs and different supplements that can help boost, their iron. But it's all in nutrition as well. You have to eat green leafy veggies and good protein, and it's really hard for even our vegan moms. It's hard to get the protein in and the iron in because, their diet is very different. But we are always working with mothers to improve their iron levels. So eating lots of green leafy vegetables and taking the supplements that agree with you,
Part, yeah.
that don't make you constipated and whatnot, but also getting a really good study on your blood work too. Sometimes it's an underlying issue.
So how do we do that? Because I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, if you have like iron deficiency, there are different blood levels that we would draw to really see what else do we need to address other than the iron. There's a whole different like treatment plan for some moms.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So are these things that can be done pre-pregnancy? Like what can not me obviously, but what can we go to the doctor and say, okay, I want to know like where I stand.
You can always get just
like,
a physical with a baseline blood work. You know what I'm saying? But we do know that when pregnancy happens, things change. So you'll still be getting follow-up blood work done, during the pregnancy.
Will you? Golly. I'm like, how many vials? 13? Why?
Now that's a lot.
That's a lot. Get out of here.
Who took 13 vials of blood?
Kaiser.
Okay.
I'm still upset about it. Can you tell?
You should.
The things you got to do to have
That's a lot of
babies.
blood.
That's a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. So you're not drawing blood. Those are questions people have. Like,
I
what
do draw
if
blood.
You do draw blood?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess because I had Kaiser.
That's right. You were doing your labs at Kaiser.
But for people who are like, okay, how do I do the medical stuff if I choose to work with the midwife? So what does that process
Midwives
look
are
like?
completely capable of drawing blood. Like everyone that comes to my office, it's a one-stop shop. We even have a sonographer in the office now, so you can come and
What's
get your.
a sonographer?
A sonographer is a person that does your ultrasounds.
So is that not an ultrasound tech? Is that like a disrespectful way to say ultrasound tech?
I think ultrasound tech are sonographers.
The same thing.
They just they all do different things in different areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
So a perinatal sonographer, she deals with babies and anatomy and all that stuff. So. In our office, for instance, we do everything. We do your labs, we do your prenatal, we do non-stress tests, we do, your ultrasounds, all the things.
You also do childbirth classes?
We do.
Are those for clients only?
No. It's open to the public.
So talk about the services that you offer beyond just home birth, because I didn't even know that you offer everything that you offer.
Yeah, so we want to have something for everybody, you know. So we do have a program that supports moms with hospital birth plans, where you would be assigned a doula for during your pregnancy and your labor. You would come and see us monthly for midwifery appointments alongside your care that you're receiving with your provider. We have a lactation consultant that does classes. We also do childbirth education classes, and we are in the works of doing like family therapy sessions and dad sessions and things like that
The
as
dads
well.
don't get no love, man. The daddies need some support out here. They need a support group.
They do. We're working on that.
Yeah, they need some help. Someone asked about maintaining or keeping your pelvic floor healthy during pregnancy.
Oh.
What is that? What is your pelvic floor? Because this is a thing I've heard so much, but I really don't know what that means.
Your pelvic floor is all the muscles and ligaments that make up your pelvic floor. So your vagina, your rectum, your,
the bottom of your pelvic area.
Yeah, your butt bones, all the structures in your pelvis. That's what your pelvic floor is, and that's very important when you're having a baby. And that's the most stressed part of your body when you are pregnant and giving birth. But visiting a pelvic floor therapist is probably best.
What do they do?
They help you like strengthen and maintain tone and everything. Absolutely.
Okay.
And a lot of moms after birth, they might have incontinence where they're peeing on themselves when they cough or sneeze. Some moms who've had really bad tears during birth might have issues with their bowel movements. They have prolapse, cervical prolapse, or like you can see.
Oh, that's when something comes out that's not supposed to be out?
Correct.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So obviously when you're giving birth, vaginally, of course, or whatever, all that stuff is stretched out and stressed out, okay? So sometimes you need a little help getting it all back together.
Baby.
So a pelvic floor therapist would be your best bet to visit, even during pregnancy.
Interesting.
And after each pregnancy.
So I did my little happy dance about having a VBAC.
As
but
you
it was
should.
not. No, I should really stop dancing, because what the hell?
Why?
Let me just keep it real with y'all, because I feel like I've never heard anybody say what I'm about to say, which is why I'm about to say it.
Oh God.
I do not feel, me personally, I'm not gonna make a blanket statement. It's just my statement. I don't feel like my post-vaginal birth experience was so much greater than my post-C-section experience.
Why?
I was in a lot of pain after my vaginal birth. I feel like I was in more pain after my vaginal birth.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Have you ever heard that before?
I have not.
Am I special case?
No.
Oh, that's not a thing?
It might be.
Okay, it was. It was a thing.
Did you tear?
I did. I got a lot of stitches.
Well, that's
Is
why.
That it? Is that it?
That's why.
That's what it was. So I pushed the whole baby out, and that was okay, but it was the stitches.
It was probably the
that did me
sutures
in.
that caused a lot of discomfort.
Yeah, it was really bad. Okay. And somebody said their cousin said that. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I find comfort in knowing that I am not alone. And I feel like I played myself, because it was such a big deal for me to not have another C-section. Anyway, can a lack of sleep affect your ability to conceive?
I'm sure it can have some effect on fertility. I mean, if you're stressed and fatigued and your hormones are different and they're out of whack, and yeah.
Yes, okay. This is like a trick question. This is set up, but best oil to prevent stretch marks. That's like hereditary,
that's not
right?
a thing.
That's not a thing, right?
I don't think
You
there's
can
an oil
dispel
that's
that
gonna that's gonna prevent stretch marks.
It really-
I haven't seen it yet. If it is, somebody tell us.
And no, don't believe it when they tell you, because they lying. All the people I just think some things work for some people. I don't think there's one thing that's like, yes, it's
And
this.
I want to just expound on that, because when we are pregnant, you're carrying a baby, your body's never going to be what it was before you had a baby.
Nobody wants to hear that, Christine.
Well, I'm just here to tell you, okay? So the things we are looking for to be back, snap back together, is not a thing. That's not going to be, like, your body's going to never be the pre-pregnancy body that you had before having babies.
Even if it looks like it, internally
it's not.
still not.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have to, when we talk about soft season, I think postpartum the postpartum phase is the ultimate soft season.
Oh, get into it.
Because we have to grace ourselves with patience and nurturing and allow our bodies to be what they're going to be after having a baby. Allow our feelings to be what they're going to be after having a baby. Allow our vulnerabilities to show after having a baby, because no one feels glamorous after giving birth. No one's, energized and feeling like they were before they had a baby. Right? So I think that's probably the ultimate soft season for women. It needs to be.
You know that was the inspiration for this whole soft season summit. It was
Really?
me after this last baby,
Yeah.
feeling like, where do I go to talk about stuff? These things, these questions that are coming up, or these conversations that I don't necessarily know of somebody that I can call up that can relate to it. Like, where can Black women just have vulnerable conversations,
Right.
talk about fibroids, talk about hemorrhoids, talk about the real life things that are not normal conversations? Because in my experience, when you're the first person to experience something that you have not heard about, it's very lonely.
Yeah.
You feel like you failed. You feel like you're the only one that's going through this thing, but most of us have gone through some similarities.
Correct.
But if we're not talking about it, you feel like you're the only one.
But let's get into that, because, we weren't told that it's okay to talk about this kind of stuff,
Yep. You got to keep it to yourself.
You sweep it under the
Gotta
rug
be
and you keep it
strong.
going.
Yep.
You'll be all right.
So are you finding yourself having these conversations with your clients, patients, or do you refer them to other people?
No. Oh, my God. You know what? We do so much counseling in
You're
that
a therapist
office.
at this point.
I'm serious. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not equipped with the tools to be a therapist. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm a therapist in my own right, because
Yeah, I'm about to say, but you
that
are.
comes with the work. You know what I mean? Like, women want to be listened to. They got stuff they got to get out so we can have this baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much mental stuff going on and emotional baggage, changes and things. It's just, it can be overwhelming. And so being able to come to your provider and talk about it and get it off your chest, that's a beautiful thing.
And not feel judged.
Not feel
Not feel like they're about to put this in your chart. Where's this information going?
Call defects on you because you
that.
said you're sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm proud of the space that we have. It's a very safe space for women. It's a very intimate, loving environment. People walk in like, oh, this is it feels like. And that's what.
It's not like, I feel like the doctor's office and the hospital are very, like, not chop shop, but like assembly line. It's like, okay, next, what's wrong with you? Okay, you good? All right, out the door.
It wasn't designed for you to talk about nothing.
At all. You got an issue? Okay, we'll schedule an appointment and talk about that next time.
That's correct. But you really won't.
Yeah, today, this is what you're getting. Do you feel that water births are soothing and calming?
Laboring in the water is very soothing and calming. Yes. Water birth is not
soothing or calming. Good luck.
Okay, now wait a minute, because I've never had a water birth.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak on that. Mothers have said that water births are much more gentler than births that they've had out of the water. But it's
Even
the
with
hydrotherapy.
no medication.
It's the hydrotherapy. It's the water therapy that is soothing and calming. Okay, that's like a natural thing people do when they're in pain or uncomfortable. What we do? Go draw bath water and go sit in the tub. You know what I mean? Take a shower. So water is therapeutic. Okay, so yes.
But it ain't gonna be.
But water birth is not like you're not gonna feel anything. That's not the
when
thing.
you see these videos on Instagram, it makes it look. It doesn't make it look glamorous, but it definitely makes it look
effortless
easy and smooth, effortless. Effortless.
Not
at all. No.
Because there is a whole thing that happened before that moment. In the picture that was captured and posted. There's a whole lot of shit, okay, in the background.
That we don't get to see.
That you don't get to see. It's a whole story there that you don't know about, And so the birth, yes, can be a beautiful thing, but it's a lot of work to get to it.
And I think that is the importance of creating your own plan, having your own, having not making your plan based off of what you saw somebody else do.
Correct.
I think social media does such a disservice with
It does.
just giving us so much content to compare our lives to. And so then if your life is not playing out exactly like the girl you follow on Instagram, you feel like a failure.
And that's true.
Yeah, and you feel like...
And I agree with that. Yeah. And I talk about that in one of my in my home birth little ebook thing. You know,
a little ebook. In your digital resources, yes, okay.
That Instagram does give you this false expectation of your own journey. You don't know what your journey's going to be, you know? And so just being flexible with your plan and your vision, because it will change.
Baby, will it?
I don't care if
Was
it's
I
the
your
slightest...
worst client in terms of
Hell
like being
no.
stubborn? No? You
No.
said that fast. Okay.
No, hell no.
Okay. Where are most people... So... I was very stubborn in that I didn't want to think of anything
else but
possible but what I wanted, which was a home birth.
Correct.
So I didn't do any other planning, like at all. Are most people like that, or is that not common?
I think it's common with first-time moms.
Because we be thinking that's awful. We're living in a fantasy world.
There's nothing to compare it to. You have no reference point.
Yeah, because second time around, I didn't even try it. I was like, you know what?
But you had a feedback.
I did. I had a feedback. Yeah.
But you learned. See, you came around to it on your own. Me and you had not really talked about it until recent. And so that made me very happy that you had, come to terms with it.
I did. It's a struggle, though. I think that's, again, normalizing the conversations that everybody's birth looks different. Even every pregnancy looks different.
Absolutely.
Same woman, different experiences with different babies.
Absolutely.
So just knowing that, and knowing that there is no perfect scenario, even if it looks like one on Instagram.
Even if you've had a baby before, it's going to look different the next time.
Baby, yes, it is.
And that's a thing, too.
What is your, experience with transfers? Can we talk about that?
We can.
With women like me. Was I a transfer? Because I wasn't in labor.
You weren't in labor.
So that doesn't count. So women who plan on having a home birth but end up in the hospital. Because I feel like that's probably a fear for a lot for is I'm going to do all this. And then,
so the biggest misconception is that a hospital transfer is an emergency. And 99.9% of the time, it's not an emergency.
Okay. It's just a suggestion, or
it's something going on where either the labor's not progressing, or mommy's tired, or mommy needs some kind of, rest, or something that's not urgent. Okay. That's why everyone usually gets in the car and goes to the hospital versus it's never a 911 situation unless it's a true emergency.
Gotcha.
True emergencies are very rare. But when you have a provider a midwife who knows how to handle those types of situations and navigate and delegate and communicate with all the people who need to be involved, it can be a very smooth situation.
Gotcha. So I want to talk about all the people who are involved, your birth team, because you mentioned part of your services, you'll pair people up with a doula, even if they're having a hospital birth. So I should have probably asked you this first, but for people who don't know the difference between a doula and a midwife, what's the difference?
So the difference between a doula and a midwife is trained, and she's gone to through a program, a rigorous program. She's had years of, hands-on training. Okay, she's passed a certification board test. Okay, and in some states, they're all very different as far as their laws, but midwives can be certified and licensed in the state. So I'm a certified licensed midwife in Georgia.
Gotcha.
Okay, now there are different levels of midwives, and not levels, but different types of midwives because they all train differently. Okay, doulas are not trained to catch babies, handle emergencies, handle complications, give medical advice, give medical care to mothers.
Gotcha.
Doulas are very important resources when it comes to labor support, education, so much to know and learn in pregnancy, emotional support. They help with breastfeeding. They help in the postpartum phase. They might help with siblings. When you bring a new baby home, you got 3 other babies at the house, a doula can come help you navigate that time, that transition, So we love doulas. And I have my own circle of doulas that I absolutely love, that I work closely with.
I remember, I think it was our consultation call, and I asked about pain management, pain medication during home birth? Because in my mind, surely there's some type of pain medication. And your answer was, yeah, your doula is your pain medication. And I could have just hung up that phone. Because what? Your doula is all the relief that you get? Wow. It's wild.
Well, she was going to
here.
tell you how to get through it.
After having a vaginal birth at that hospital, I don't think I was going to get through it. That is really the aha moment in all of this, is that could I have even done the home birth?
You could have.
Okay. Someone wants to know, do you need a midwife and a doula? You have faith in me. I appreciate that. But yes, you do?
Yes, you do. Because they're two different roles. So your midwife is going to be focused on your health, your baby's health throughout the whole process. She's doing vital signs. She's listening to your baby. She's helping you cope and navigate through your labor and making different suggestions and just keeping a watchful eye on you and your health, okay? Your well-being. Your doula is your constant support person to help you through your emotional transitions, your mental and emotional and physical discomforts.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there are two different roles. Your midwife can't do all of those things for you.
So who all is required, or is there a requirement? Like your birth team, if I'm going to have a home birth, do I have to have a doula?
We strongly suggest doulas, but we require them for, this is me and my practice, I require doulas for first-time mothers, okay? But moms who've had babies who like, girl, look, this is my 5th baby. I don't need no dang on doula. That's fine.
Because you know what you're doing.
You know how to do this thing. You know what I mean? But we love when moms have doulas because they just have an added support person, you know, an extra cheerleader to really help you through stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, my last question in regards to home birth, is there an average length of labor?
No. Everyone's different. There's no telling. You know, first time moms, some babies I've been running to the house because the baby came out in 3 hours. Okay? And
so that's
others,
short.
we're
3
spending
hours
the
is
night.
short.
Yeah. For a first time mother, 3 hours is short. I've had a couple moms have very short labors.
That sounds just amazing.
Like first time moms.
That sounds amazing.
And I'm like, woohoo. But then we might have moms who, you know.
So what's a long labor?
It just depends on when you're starting. I mean, if we're in active labor for 18, 24 hours, I mean, something might not be progressing the way it should be. Gotcha. If you are really in active labor. Some people be like, oh, my first contraction, you know, I was in labor. You weren't in labor, girl.
I think you were laughing at me when I was texting you, like, girl, call me later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So for the people out there who maybe pre-moms, maybe pregnant as hell right now, maybe trying to get pregnant, offer them a word of wisdom, advice, encouragement, something that you find yourself sharing with your clients, patients on a regular basis. And then I'm going to have you give your contact info.
Be kind to yourself, and write your own story. Your birth doesn't have to look like anyone else's. You don't have to compare yourself to other people. You know, educate yourselves as much as you possibly can without being overwhelmed, okay? What's important to you are the things you need to be really looking into. But birth plans and everything needs to remain flexible because everything is not going to be whatever you envision for yourself, to be honest. But being informed is going to change the outcome and how you feel about your experience. You know, going in it blindly is not going to be helpful at all. But being aware and present and making decisions for yourself intentionally, you know, and standing firm in things for yourself, you know, that is going to make the difference for you regardless of where you have your baby or how you have your baby or, you know, what changed and what didn't, you know. So I think that's probably the words of wisdom I can offer.
So you do have online resources.
We do.
So you do not have to be here in Atlanta or Tyrone, Georgia to take advantage of Birth by Grace midwifery. So let the people know where they can find you online, social media, all that good stuff.
So we're on Instagram at Birth by Grace. We are on YouTube with Birth by Grace, Midwife Christine on YouTube. And on YouTube, we have a lot of home birth videos and things you can really get a bird's eye view into, like what it really, really looks like in real life.
Sounds
Our website is birthbygracemidwifery.com. And what else?
And you have a new podcast dropping coming soon. The Birth Exchange podcast.
The Birth Exchange podcast.
So much to look forward to.
I am so excited.
Continuing the conversation.
It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time. I'm not going to put the pressure on you to say too much more. Y'all going to have to tune in when it drops. Coming soon, the Birth Exchange podcast, hosted by your favorite midwife Christine. Such a wealth of information. I appreciate you as always. Anytime I have opportunity to put you on my platform, the people need you. So anytime I have the chance, it is my honor to be able to do that.
Well,
so
it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Coriel.
Y'all, if you enjoyed day 2 of the Soft Season Summit, you know what you got to do. You got to run over to grownwomanweekend.com so that we can keep this party going. If we are this lit online, imagine what we're going to be doing in real life, okay? We are outside November 3rd through 5th right here in ATL. Grownwomanweekend.com is where you can learn more. This concludes day 2 of the Soft Season Summit. Check your email for tonight's recap, and I'll see you tomorrow.